Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verified best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fitzall Media is an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
Rangers dropping more points today. The Celtic fans are unhappy.
Ibrox will be 30,000 if lucky. It's going to go back to pre-Soonest days.
The board are leaving. Brendan Rodgers short on the resources he requires. Another 1-1 draw.
Look at Daiza Maeda standing himself. Didn't want to stand with the rest of the team.
Hamza Igaman claiming he was injured.
It's the first Old Firm clash in a season still to properly get going for both sides.
The full team looked as if they were disorientated.
The Champions League millions may be gone, but a win today, that's priceless.
Rangers 2, Celtic 0.
Rangers 0, Celtic 2.
Drama indeed.
A superb piece of play by Rangers on the breakaway.
The Celtic fans to my left, they run.
Across the action with your reaction after the final whistle.
Don't want anyone else.
Live from Ibrox.
They have come out of the traps flying.
Rangers v Celtic. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Yes, good morning and welcome to Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard on the first Old Firm day of the new season. In the blue half, Russell Martin hasn't won yet in the league. There are banners calling for his removal. Players are refusing to play. Others are asked to train themselves. In the green half, Brendan Rodgers is getting stick for their Champions League elimination. Sack the board are the chants from the Celtic fans and accusations the team hasn't won a big game in 2025. Other than that, everyone's in a great mood and we're all set to go with Gordon Dalziel, Marvin Bartley and Hugh Keevins.
Well, for Russell Martin, last Sunday in Paisley was all about a player who refused to go on to the pitch, Hamza Igaman. This Sunday at Ibrox, it's all about a player not allowed to go on the pitch, Nico Raskan. That sums up the chaotic state of affairs at Ibrox. But if Rangers beat Celtic today, then chaos becomes happiness and Russell Martin wins a stay of execution from the fans who want him out. A loss for Celtic, and the criticism of the board intensifies. The squad has gone seriously stale, but the board haven't noticed. It all adds up to the definition of a must-win match for both teams. High noon, high anxiety, high stakes.
Looking forward to it. I've got to say I'm excited. The teams are now in. Big changes in both teams. But it's one of these games, Gordon, with 13 minutes to go to kick-off. I still don't know my prediction.
It's not like you. It's a massive game for both, disgruntled fans on both sides of it. For Rangers, they can go into the international break 3 points behind, or potentially they could be 9 points behind. There's a massive difference between the two. Russell Martin really needs to get his players on side and need a reaction today.
Looking forward to it. The stage is set. It's almost kick-off. Let's go to Ibrox and check in with Ross McCormack and Andrew Maclean, who has the teams.
Yeah, I'm just going to get straight to that team news because there is so much to get through for both sides. For Rangers, big decisions to be made for Russell Martin, and he's gone with 5 changes from that hammering by Club Brugge. Out go Max Aarons, Joe Rothwell, Lyle Cameron, Antman and Danilo. In come Tavernier, Barron, Diamandi, Moore and Bojan Majowski, signed yesterday, thrown straight into the starting lineup. Nico Raskin not in the squad at all. He trained separately on Friday, nowhere to be seen today. Will he now leave before Monday's deadline? What makes it even more interesting is that the man that he's been dropped for previously in Joe Rothwell, he's not in the starting lineup, and it is Connor Barron that takes that place in midfield. So Jack Butland in goal for Rangers today. The back four, James Tavernier, John Suter, Nasser Jiga and Jayden Magoma. The midfield three, Connor Barron, Tello Asgard and Mohamed Diamandi, Mikey Moore and Jade Gassama either side of Bojan Majowski. The substitutes, Kelly, Aarons, Rothwell, Dessers, Bayrami, Antman, Fernandes, Curtis and Danilo. For Celtic, it's 2 changes after they crashed out of the Champions League qualifiers away to Kairat Almaty on Tuesday. Out go Yang and Forrest. In come Arne Engels and Michel Anga Balikwisha, signed on Thursday. He is straight into the starting lineup as well. As for Adam Ida, he's not in the squad. He was called back up to Glasgow on Friday after agreeing terms and completing a medical with Swansea. Surely his Celtic career now looks over. The starting lineup for Celtic: Kasper Schmeichel, Anthony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney are the back four. Arne Engels, Rea Hattati and Callum McGregor in midfield, with Benjamin Nigrin and Michel Anga Balikwisha either side of Daisen Maeda, who leads the line. The substitutes: Sinisalo, Yang, McCowan, Shin, Bernardo, Matteo Sorachi as well, a new signing who was signed on Friday, Murray, Forrest and Donovan. The referee here at Ibrox is Don Robertson. The VAR is Andrew Dallas. Ross McCormack, where do you even start with that team news?
Andrew, I can't remember the last game where the team sheets were this much of a talking point. I think, looking at that, Majowski coming straight in, Balikwisha coming straight in, from a Rangers point of view, I think that instantly makes them a better team, gives them a better chance today. I like Mikey Moore coming in for his first start. I think this is going to be a fascinating game. I can't call it.
Yeah, it is going to be an intriguing 90 minutes. The stands at Ibrox filling up. Looking forward to it.
Honestly, Hugh, I'm going to try and petition the Scottish FA to get the referee to move this game back a bit, because we've got 10 minutes to try and digest that team news. I'll let you, as the elder statesman, pick your main talking point. These two can pick up the rest.
Well, you know what? At my age, I'm supposed to be able to say I've seen it all before, but I've never seen anything like this. However, I'll cut straight to the chase for you, Gordon. I think they've targeted Anthony Ralston and Kieran Tierney as the weak link, and I think Gassama and Mikey Moore will punish them. I think Majowski is the correct choice to start. If he's the player he was when he played at Aberdeen, he will terrorise Carter-Vickers and Scales, and that's what puts me straight to the front of the queue. I say Rangers will win this match.
We'll get to the predictions, Gordon, but I feel like there's a lot of news headlines from the team lineups that need addressed. Well, let's go Nicholas Raskin, just because we kind of knew it was coming, or we thought it might be coming. He's not in the squad at all. His future is done by the looks of things. How do you come back from this? What do you make of that?
Yeah, it's interesting because he's obviously mixed up the midfield from Wednesday night. He's brought in Barron, Diamandi comes back in there. Ashgar retains his place, Gordon. I think Raskin could be a big miss today. I really do. I think he's still Rangers' best midfield player. He's in the Belgium squad, which tells you everything. If you're getting picked in that sort of company, then you're obviously well rated. And to leave him out today, obviously there's situation between him and the manager. Doesn't look like any way back for him. So Rangers just need to go on with it this afternoon. I just think, I'm with Ross and I was speaking to Maro, I can't call this. I'm looking at the two teams. I'm trying to put something forward for each team, but I just can't call it this afternoon.
Raskin, for you, Marvin, what do you make of that situation? He's probably been Rangers' better or best performer in these fixtures in recent times.
Yeah, listen, I think he's been brilliant for Rangers at times, especially last season, but for what I'm led to believe is true in terms of a daily basis, he's been a problem of recent times. And I've been in dressing rooms before when you've got players like that, and it gets to a point where the manager says your ability doesn't outweigh the problems you're causing me on a daily basis. And Conor Barron comes into the team. I think it can galvanise Rangers. I think you create your own problem if you're playing a player who's not training to the levels they should be. If it's you, Gordon, for example, and I'm behind you, I'm saying, well, why is Gordon constantly playing ahead of me? And I think it starts to cause a problem with the rest of the group. So the manager's made a massive, massive call. That's what he's paid to do, and he needs to get a reaction, as I said, from the team today. But Conor Barron in there, for me, his energy, his bite, I think will definitely help Rangers in terms of that midfield battle. But in terms of Raskin, it looks like his days are numbered at the club.
And for Adam Ida, Hugh, I suppose probably just encapsulates the mess that Celtic are in this transfer window. That this might sum it all up. You don't need to worry about the last few weeks. Take a look at the last few days.
The manager, Brendan Rodgers, said on Friday, I can't let him go anywhere because we don't have anybody else. On Sunday, he's nowhere to be seen, and they still haven't got anybody else. So it's chaotic at Ibrox, chaotic at Celtic, and I think that Celtic squad has gone seriously stale. I look at the bench, there's not a lot to pick, and I think that's why the fans can see it, the manager can see it, but the board appear not to be able to see it. But it's getting serious for Celtic.
Because sometimes, Gordon, look, this is the problem the transfer window brings. It gets to the end, it can get chaotic. There's a chain, somebody wants your player, you can't let him go until you find a replacement. That's fine in isolation, but as Hugh says, this has been happening all window, and then you're in a scenario where he actually can't even play what's a vital game for you. So
it's very strange with Adam Ida. I totally understand Brendan Rodgers' comments saying, look, I can't let anybody out unless I get people in. I totally get that for the numbers, but then you turn up today, he's not even on the bench, he's not going to be used. You would imagine that Celtic are trying to get people in by the transfer window closes, then Adam Ida can go on his way to Swansea. I think that would be the best move for everyone. I'm not surprised he's not there, because what sort of frame would he be in his mind set? He would be all over the place, Gordon. He wouldn't be wanting to come on the pitch, he wouldn't want to take part.
He's been looking at wallpaper samples in Wales.
Exactly. So I can understand bringing him back, because if the window closes and they don't get anything in, they've still got numbers. But today I totally understand he's not involved.
Ross McCormack, let me ask you about a couple of the new signings that do play and thrown straight in from the beginning. There'll be quiz question answers in the future. Bojan Miovski, big fee, big reputation at Aberdeen, has only played 45 minutes of football all season though. Do you think that's a risk?
I think every signing's a risk, but you're right, big fee, and I'm a big fan. I think he'll make a massive difference to this Rangers team. He's going to get chances. Gassama out wide, Asgard in behind him, Mikey Moore coming in, who's a good winger, so he's going to get chances. I think he'll be a big hit for Rangers.
Yeah, it's been interesting, Gordon. Rangers haven't created chances for whoever it is so far, but it probably shows you the way their striking department is going to develop. You know, as Desso's on his way out, we've already seen Igaman score twice in his debut in France. Danilo, I don't, as good as Rangers hope Bojan Miovski will be, I don't think in an ideal world you sign him yesterday and start him today when he's only played 45 minutes of football.
Yeah, it's got to be a difficult one. He'll probably not see out the game. You've got a bench there, you're looking, Dessers can come on. He'd be a bit disappointed he's not starting today. Maybe the fact that he's on his way out. You look at Ant-Man come in, and his debut was brilliant. The Rangers fans really took to him. Can't even make the starting 11. You're talking about Rangers scoring goals. I think their bigger problem is at the back. They concede too many goals for me. This is a big task. He's brought the captain back in, quite rightly so, because Aarons has offered absolutely nothing. He's went with legs in the Midland Park. I think we're in for a good game.
Ross, how much responsibility is on Balikwisha? Again, just signed and straight in, because Celtic have nothing else really in attack. Yang and Forrest are there, not perceived to be up to a level to start a game like this. We all know the story about Kuhn and Jota. Adam Ida features in that, because you then have to play Diaz and Maeda in a certain area. And even on the other side, Nygren, as impressive as he's been, isn't a winger either. Seems like a lot of responsibility on Celtic's new signing.
No, I mean, they're taking a lot of pace out of their team, aren't they, with Yang, Forrest coming out and moving Nygren wide right. But interesting to see how this Balikwisha plays. Me and Andrew were watching him warming up, and he was putting in crosses from the left hand side on his left foot, and it looks as if he's never kicked it before with his left foot, so he's clearly a right footed player who likes to come in the pitch. and link with the forward players. So I think that'll be good for Celtic and Kieran Tierney.
Well, as you can hear, it's almost showtime, Andrew Maclean.
Yeah, the team's just making their way out onto the pitch right now. Rangers led by James Tavernier, who is back in the starting lineup, and Celtic, of course, led by Callum McGregor. I look over to my right and there is a big tifo in the Copeland Road stand, which is a play on the big building in the city centre of Glasgow, the big eyesore of a building that says people make Glasgow with the pink panelling. The tifo says Rangers make Glasgow. It's got the Duke of Wellington statue there as well, but the cone on top is blue, red and white. I look over to my left, the Celtic supporters holding up cards, green, white and gold to support their team. As always, it is going to be a fantastic atmosphere here, but what will it turn out to be like? Because we know that the scenes have been toxic, especially here at Ibrox, and with Rangers under Russell Martin, it could change, it could turn so quickly, and you just wonder what an early goal for Celtic, what that could potentially do to the Rangers support here, Ross.
Sorry, I'm struggling to hear you here.
If there was an early goal for Celtic in this game, what it could do to the atmosphere so early in this game.
It really could end up toxic here if Celtic go up early doors. I'm not sure. I think it'll be a really tight game. I'm quite excited for this Rangers starting 11.
Yeah, it is a new look starting 11, really, because there are players that either weren't there last season or, in the case of Bojan Miovski, coming straight in from the start. I'll run through the starting lineups for you. Again, Jack Butland in goal for Rangers. The back four, James Tavernier, John Souttar, Nasser Jigga and Jayden Magoma. Connor Barron in midfield alongside Tello Asgard and Mohamed Diamande. Mikey Moore, just turned 18 years old, comes in to start his first Old Firm game. He's on one side, JD Gassama on the other. Bojan Miovski leading the line for Celtic. Kasper Schmeichel in goal. The back four, Anthony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney. Callum McGregor, Arnie Engels and Rail Hitati in midfield. Benjamin Nigren on one side. Michel Anga Balikwisha in for his debut on the other wing. Daisen Maeda leading the line. Celtic break out from their huddle. The guys were saying it's such a tough one to call, but we should be in for a day full of drama, you'd reckon, Ross?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Andrew. That's going to be some spectacle. The noise is incredible. I've not heard anything like it in a while. Prediction?
You go.
I'm going to go 2-1 Celtic, late winner.
Well, Ross thinks it's going to be a 2-1 win for Celtic. He thinks there's going to be late drama. There will be guaranteed drama no matter when it happens in the game. There always is in this fixture. Rail Hitati is standing over the ball. He's just waiting for the signal and he gets it from Don Robertson. We are underway at Ibrox between Rangers and Celtic.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
And just like that, we are underway in the first meeting of the Old Firm of the new season. Hugh Keevins, go on, give us one of your famous predictions.
Rangers 2, Celtic 1.
Marvin Bartley.
Celtic 2, Rangers 1.
And Gordon DL.
1-1.
Wow.
I can't decide.
A real spread in the studio. You said something I thought was really interesting, Hugh. First time in a while, but seriously, you have seen it all in this fixture, or you thought you had. And there's probably an accusation from the outside that this stuff gets repetitive. They play each other 4, 5, 6 times a season. It's too often. It's always the same. How can you keep getting excited and interested in something that happens so often? I certainly can't remember a build-up to a fixture like this one.
No. You go back to last Sunday, as I said, from a player refusing to go onto the pitch for Rangers to Nico Raska not allowed to go onto the pitch. The manager of Celtic saying, I can't let Ida go anywhere because I have no new players in. No new players come in and Ida is nowhere to be seen. It is a state of chaos at both clubs and there'll be serious questions asked of the loser today. The winner, if it's Celtic, 9 points clear, thrilled. The loser, if it's Rangers, chaos continues at Ibrox. And I know that Gordon Dale said yesterday he doesn't think that Russell Martin can survive a defeat. That's how bad it is.
And I stand by that today, after thinking about it last night. I just don't think that a manager who's under severe pressure, fans have turned against him. This is massive for him. If he loses this afternoon, I don't think he'll be the manager after international break.
That would surprise me if they were to get rid of him, regardless of today's result. I think when you have a new board that have come in, he's their first appointment. They're going to be 4 games into the season. I know there have been some real sore ones, especially in Europe. I know they've not picked up enough points, but I think to sack him would be crazy.
About 2 minutes in, not much really to tell you about. Possibly what you would expect. It's just a bit frantic. If anything, looks like Celtic will probably try and have a bit more comfortable possession. But this is what will be fascinating, Gordon, because this is the whole point of Russell Martin. Everyone is basing their criticism around this accusation that he's obsessed with possession to the detriment of everything else. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out against Celtic, because I think over the last 12 years probably you would be able to count on one hand, if any, the number of head-to-heads that Rangers have controlled possession. Would there be any? Yeah, I'm looking at the game, but obviously there'll be a game plan. Once the game settles down, it's a bit frantic to now. You see Rangers playing a long ball, Miłowski into the corner, Ralston being clever, buys the free kick, takes the pressure off. There's not much happening. None of the two teams have settled down yet, Gordon, into a passing rhythm. But if you look at Celtic's midfield, I think Celtic's midfield is better at controlling the game. So it's up to Rangers. I know we're talking about Barron, Diamandi in there, Ashgar. They're in there because they're looking for a bit of legs, to get about the pitch, rather than Rothwell, because he's come in for a bit of criticism. But once the game settles down, we'll see what style of play that Russell Martin's adopting.
Was that long ball lumped towards Miłowski a sign that perhaps
they're going direct?
Possession's not it?
I think there'll be a mixture though. I think when you play against Celtic, they're so good at pressing you. If you start to play from the back from the start, you'll find yourself in trouble. I think you do have to stretch the game, and then they can maybe implement their possession style into it. But Miłowski gives them that other option as well here. You're right to go in behind.
Interesting, Gordon. I think you talk about the legs in midfield. Conor Barron just pressed Hatate, who actually did well initially, wriggled away from him, but then passed the ball out the pitch. Conor Barron hasn't started a game for Rangers this season, and we've gone from, is Joe Rothwell better than Nicholas Raskin? Why is Nicholas Raskin not playing? To neither of them playing, one of them on their way out, and Conor Barron starting the game. It has just been a remarkable couple of weeks on so many personnel levels. You can't
second guess the manager the way he's going to line up, Gordon. He's the one thing you talk about the style of play is sometimes you need a settled team. I know that because of injuries and stuff like that, and it's the beginning of the season, but it's changed, 5 changes already today. So to try and get into a rhythm and know each other's game, it takes a bit of time. But he's swapping players here, there and everywhere. There's no rhythm to it. If you look at Celtic up against a big team, you probably name 8 of their starting 11 right away. I don't think you can do that with Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, Mikey Moore is starting as well. It shows you that how crazy things are, that that's not even one of the headlines, Hugh, because that should be. He's a very young man, he's just turned 18. Huge hopes for him at Spurs. He's come in, hasn't started many games yet, but does start in this one, the biggest of them all.
Yeah, didn't go on the park at all in Belgium midweek when Rangers were humiliated by Club Brugge, but it sums up the state of affairs at both places, and the match so far is as chaotic as the circumstances.
I think they should just take the ball off and start running about, because it's absolutely dreadful just now. We're hoping this picks up a little bit.
It really is that. There was a ball down the side there that was a poor pass from Celtic, so James Tavernier should have taken it easily. He couldn't switch his brain on and didn't bother, so Balikwisha then gets it in what could be a dangerous attacking area. He can't bring it under control and Rangers come away with it. That was not vintage.
I'm wondering if Balikwisha's thinking to himself already,
6 minutes in,
what's happening here?
Yeah, it's a bit all over the place, isn't it? But you expect it to start this way. Like you said, both teams have pressure on them for different reasons. Obviously Celtic domestically are second in the table at this moment in time, but what's happened in Europe, they've been embarrassed, and Rangers just haven't got going. So yeah, listen, there'll be nerves on both sides of the game, but you do expect it to settle down sooner rather than later, hopefully.
And it's just funny because of all the games, this it does distort everything. The whole argument, everything about Russell Martin has been about this style. Is it working? Does he have the players? Is he too stubborn? But actually, Marvin, they would all be happy for the style to go out the window today. And there's going to be a penalty, you would imagine, to Rangers.
It's not given it.
No, John Robertson says no. They're going to take another look at that, I would imagine, because Miłowski tumbled in the box, Scales was behind him, the ball was nowhere to be seen.
Well,
it's going to be a huge talking point either way.
already you can see it's not about possession, it's about getting it to Miovski as quickly as possible.
Was I overreacting?
I agree with you. I think it was a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think Scales played the ball at all.
He couldn't have. It's not
made contact with Miovski, so for me I thought it was a penalty kick as well.
I think
first seeing.
He's got to have a look at this, and it's poor defending. No, I'm sorry, that's a dive for me.
Really?
I think
the feet tangle.
Hold on. No, I don't think that's a penalty kick.
Nah, Miovski kicks the back.
I do not think that's a penalty kick. I think Miovski goes down too easily there, but Scales gets away with one because that is terrible defending.
Hugh?
Yeah, I think it's a penalty.
Never a penalty, Hugh. Never.
Well, anyway, the VAR, I don't know if a VAR check is still ongoing, but it highlights the fact that Scales can be got at.
I'm in agreement with Gordon on that one. First seeing, I did think it was a penalty, but seeing the replay there, Miovski initiates the contact with Scales. He hits the Scales' left leg and goes over. The referee's made the right decision.
Well, we move on for now. I'm sure we'll hear the fallout of it at some point. Don Robertson seemed to motion that it was shoulder to shoulder. I certainly don't think it was that.
Definitely not that.
That'd be a strange description of it.
But Scales is vulnerable for me, and
it's just one ball down the inside channel, and Scales' positioning is absolutely terrible. Miovski gives him so many problems there.
It's funny though, because Celtic's defensive record's actually been good this season. That's not where their problems have arisen. It's been up the other end. Even in the much maligned Almaty performances, they didn't concede any across the two legs. They haven't conceded a Premiership goal yet, but there are still always question marks about personnel and what level they're at.
Yeah, 100%. I think that you have to give to a striker play. I think it's good movement. I think it's Conor Barron who plays the ball as well. Something that they've obviously realised that Miovski will give them pace down the sides, and they've turned the ball, and Scales has found himself outpaced by a really good striker. So I don't think Scales has done too much wrong there, because strikers at times are going to get in. But like you said, Gordon, it's been at the other end really for
there's his other flaw: distribution of the ball. Scales passes it straight to a Rangers player. That is a serious flaw in his game.
Yeah, he did. He passed it straight into an area. Rangers obviously setting that trap, hoping it goes in there. You can see that, Gordon.
Yeah, of course. Stopping them playing through the middle of the park, through the lines, as they say in the modern day game. I think Rangers would be the happier. Look, the standard's not been great so far. You'd expect that because it's a pressure game. But I think Rangers would probably be the happier team just now after 9 and a bit minutes.
Although everything has changed in a way, it kind of feels like a similar feeling around the game, and that a lot of the games last season, the season before, Rangers would take chaos if it allows them to go and win the game.
Yeah, listen, this fixture's all about winning, Gordon. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how you do it. It's all about winning. It's all about those bragging rights for the supporters. Two teams just now are under a little bit of pressure. Celtic with the board because of the signings, Rangers with the manager. That's why this game is so important to both clubs. They need to get a result.
Well, first corner of the day, the usual pushing and shoving, and Don Robertson's got his work cut out. It is going to be an outswinger. It's actually decent enough, but I think Maeda was well positioned. Always guards that front area, and it's going to come back in a second time. Liam Scales does really well on this occasion. That's definitely what his strong suit is, if some of the other stuff isn't that we've discussed already. Kind of back to the wall defending. That was good.
Now into under the cosh moments for Celtic now. They cannot get out, and the Rangers just keep throwing balls in there.
It's always going to come though in this game, isn't it? You have to defend at some point, and like you say there, Liam Scales heading the ball away, that's what he's paid to do. It actually surprised me that Conor Barron takes the corner, not James Tavernier.
Yeah,
and Tavernier's going
he's
in.
a long throw and specialist. What a throw that is.
James Tavernier.
I didn't know he had that in his locker.
You thought it would be a short one, didn't you?
Mate, I honestly didn't think he
that.
had that. I couldn't kick the ball off. I never mind throw it.
He's done a few of those already, and now another corner, because that's what it does. It's just the uncertainty. It doesn't
make them defend.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's what Rangers are going to be going at. Let's try and make Celtic do. Put balls into the box and see how they deal with it. Celtic have stood up to it so far.
Imagine saying to Rangers fans when the takeover was complete, Conor Barron will be taking the corners in the first Old Firm game of the season. But not been bad deliveries. It wasn't necessarily meant to be a criticism of him, just a quirk of your expectation versus what actually pans out sometimes.
I think Russell Martin has taken the Russell Martin playbook and thrown it in a bin in Edmiston Drive. This is a different approach from Rangers. This is the approach you would expect in an Old Firm game. Never mind possession.
It's a lot more direct, isn't it, Gordon?
Yeah, they're looking to get the ball to the front line early, Gordon, cause problems, turn Celtic's back line. But So far Celtic have handled it. Just that one scare where Majowski gets the inside scales and causes them problems.
Celtic are slack. They just passed it right out for a throw in.
And that's your captain. That's the guy that everybody depends on to dictate the game in the middle of the park.
Maybe unfair. Could Anthony Ralston have?
No, I thought it was a poor pass.
Rangers are settled, haven't they? A lot better now. You know, you spoke about after 5 minutes and both teams are rather frantic. Rangers have definitely settled into it a lot more than Celtic have.
What we sometimes overlook though is that natural given the atmosphere.
They're at home as well. They've got the big support. You know, they've lined up with two wingers, and obviously Majowski making his debut through the middle. He'll be hungry for goals. Yeah, I agree. I think Rangers have settled the best. But listen, we've seen this picture many times where you think Rangers are on top, and then all of a sudden Celtic 3 or 4 passes and you're 1-0 down. So they need to be careful.
Well, I'm thinking back to the cup final against Aberdeen. Celtic that day simply not good enough, and that decline wasn't addressed by the board over the summer months. And I think you can see it in this Celtic team. Too many who have gone stale, if not to say over the hill.
You say that though, Hugh, but how many of those Rangers players would you put into the Celtic team? Just talking about today's game in isolation.
I put Majowski in it for a start.
Tavernier as well.
Well,
keep going, Hugh. We'll back him right in a corner.
No. He's on your side.
They are weak.
I'm on your side here.
Yeah, they are weak at fullback. I think McGregor has been toiling. I think.
But which of those 3 Rangers midfielders would you pick over him?
We're talking about 2 players. So regardless of what Celtic have done in the transfer market, this team out there, you would take more Celtic players than you would Rangers players. Rangers actually have just started the game better.
Well, we're 13 minutes in and Jack Butland hasn't touched the ball yet.
Kasper Schmeichel.
Yeah, well, he's had several things to deal with.
That's great. That's great defending from Barron, matching Tierney's run there.
Long throws, etc.
He's not touched them though.
But Butland, nothing.
To be fair,
there's nothing in the game yet.
Exactly. It's been a sort of a poor 13-14 minutes, just a nervy. But if you're picking a team that's settled better,
as you said, though, that's brilliant from Conor Barron, because famous words from Gordon Dalziel there. It was rolled to Giga. He had 2 Celtic players around him. He just turns and just passes it straight out the pitch, because actually I don't think he had any other options that time.
No, the Celtic closed him down very quickly. I look at him as a defender. I don't think he likes the way playing out for the back. That's great play from Celtic.
Kieran Tierney just pokes it, and I wondered if it was Anthony Ralston, wasn't it? He's not too likely to unleash a 25-yarder. I think if it had been a midfielder, he would have, because it was a good shooting opportunity. Callum McGregor tumbles, referee not interested. Now can Rangers break? It's the first period of pressure we've seen from Celtic in a while, and I say pressure, it wasn't even that. I just mean first venture forward. Balikwisha looks a little bit tentative.
Yes,
he looks like he wants to come back all the time. I think he needs a situation when he gets the ball, face Tavernier and say, yeah, exactly, just go at him and test him and see what he's got. But he seems to be a little bit, I'm settling into the team, I'm settling into this fixture, because let me tell you, and Ross said it there, when you walk out onto that atmosphere, it's incredible. It really is. And you've got to adjust to that early on. Your nerves and adrenaline's going so quickly, so he's just got to settle down. I'd like to see him being a wee bit more positive.
Rangers just now sitting on the halfway line, Marvin, letting Celtic come on. So look, if it works, no one will care. But this isn't what Russell Martin's been trying to do so far. So 2 ways of looking at that. Well done for being flexible, that people are urging you to do. But on the other hand, you've told us that you know your way is the future. Yeah, well, listen, something that was labelled at him when he first came in is that he doesn't change, and we've definitely seen the change in terms of Rangers press in his first 15 minutes. And I think he's had to be smart with it. I think, again, if you go after Celtic and you try and press high, that they'll play through you. Technically, they're a very, very good team. So, you know, like you said, he's sitting kind of around that halfway line. They're trying to set traps to then turn the ball over and then be a little bit more direct on the counter-attack when they do turn it over. It finally settled into something of a...
It's a good bit of passing here, possession play by Celtic. Just try to slow everything down, take the sting out of Rangers.
Yeah, Rangers now pressing at times. They've obviously got their triggers, Marvin, that they wait for as Ralston goes back to Kasper Schmeichel. And Mikey Moore and Miovski in particular have put in a real shift pressing early on.
Yeah, it'll be... They're almost getting behind there. It'll be a negative pass, Gordon. So, they'll sit on that halfway line or around the halfway line. But as soon as Celtic play a negative pass, that'll be a trigger for Rangers to then jump on it and then ends up at Kasper Schmeichel, and then they hope they go long from there. But Celtic have managed to play their way out of it again and pick up the second ball.
Yeah, and you can see Rangers are adapting, because that just went back to Jack Butland, who just launched it, Gordon, into this.
He didn't have much choice, Gordon. I expect him to do that. The one thing, if you're 17 minutes on the clock, if you're Rangers, Kasama and Moore, we've not seen anything of them. They're there to get, stretch a game into wide areas, cause problems.
Okay, first chance for Balikwisha in a Celtic jersey. He's down the side of the box. He chooses just to cross. It's a bit of a safe
nothing option. It's a nothing cross. That's a nothing cross.
Yeah, you're also, Celtic's attack is not really set up for that in the absence of Adam Ida, is it?
No, and the fact that obviously Rangers dominant in there with the height. So I would expect a little bit more. What he's doing is just playing safe. Yeah. He's playing safe, and you can understand that. Look, this is new to him. He's walked out into this atmosphere, and it's incredible.
Oh, it's an early ball from Arne Engels. It wasn't the worst.
It was. I've seen what he meant there, Marv. It was brilliantly played, but just unfortunately it didn't get its target on Maeda. But a little warning for Rangers, they just need to be careful.
It doesn't surprise me that Maeda then pulls on to Jigger in that, because I watched him the other day and defensively he looks all at sea. When balls are coming in the box, he doesn't pick up.
Because there's the stat. Okay, last 10 minutes, Celtic 77% of the ball. Now they've not done a lot with it, so that in itself is not a huge problem. But that is the complete opposite of what Russell Martin's trying to do.
Yeah.
So is he in survival mode, sort of win the game today and then deal with the rest thereafter?
I think he realises the confidence isn't there to constantly keep the ball, to constantly try and play through Celtic. So it's almost horses for courses. And I think it's actually good management from him to say, listen, we aren't going to play through Celtic, so we have to give up possession. It's just where you give it up, Gordon. Yes, they've had 77% possession, but it's been in Celtic's defensive third and the middle third at best.
I think Andy Halliday has been over to his flat in the West End and has said, look, here's how you play Celtic at home in an Old Firm game. Because it's an entirely different Rangers from any Rangers that you've seen this season.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting. Some statistician somewhere, Gordon, will be counting up how many long balls have Rangers played in the first 19 minutes versus the rest of the season put together so far, and I bet you it's comparable.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan so far. And listen, it caused problems with Scales, and
this is actually much better from Celtic. But they need Balikwisha to take this a run when he gets it, and he won't. Gordon, he won't do it. It was so good from Maeda, wriggled away from Suter into Hatate, who hits that lovely first time pass across his body. Celtic in the wide areas. This used to be Kuhn, Jota, Maeda, Abada.
They would come inside, cause you problems, bounce the ball off centre forwards, midfield players, go for the next ball, cause you that problem that you're thinking, oh, we're in trouble here. But he's playing everything safe. He reminds me a little bit with the way Yang plays. Yang,
don't tell me there's two of them.
Yeah, I look at Yang and I think to myself, you've got pace, go and knock it by somebody, go and try and create something. But he always turns back the way and plays the safe
I think
pass.
What we have to do, Marvin, is make it abundantly clear we're talking about right now and what we're seeing with our eyes. Balikwisha's 19 minutes into his Celtic career. He's been pitched in a day after signing, so absolutely nobody's writing him off. We're just saying so far he's playing like someone who might be feeling that.
Yeah, I think that was a perfect opportunity for Gordon saying there to knock it down the line and just have a foot race with the fullback. Even if James Tavernier gets there first, he's putting off for a throw on, or if you got the pace in them, then James Tavernier will start to back off and then he can start to come inside. I just think, they worked it into 1v1 situation. Once your winger go at someone rather than come inside, which he did.
Arne Engels gave up good possession for Celtic. Rangers came forward. It didn't really go anywhere, but it's been stopped for a free kick to Rangers, so it's quite central. It's quite far, but definitely one that James Tavernier will look to shape. It actually looks quite windy inside Ibrox as well, believe it or not. It might look to just curl one goalwards, and he has knocked back in by John Suter. But Rangers have
offside,
to pick up again. There's an offside flag.
Great line, brilliant line from Celtic. They're brave, they're all in sync. They're not going to drop. And Suter goes too early, they stay up. I think there's probably two Rangers players offside there. From Celtic's point of view, that's perfect.
It's been an interesting opening 21 minutes. It's actually gone pretty fast. We're almost at the midway point of the first half. Neither goalkeeper has had a save to make, but that doesn't mean it's not been entertaining in its own unique way.
I would be using the word entertaining
sparingly.
Yeah.
I think it's been a tactical battle.
I listen. It is a tactical battle, of course it is. I think the sort of the standard isn't as great as what we're.
I think that's quite often the case, though.
I know, because
see that all the time. Look at the ones at the end of last
season. But you've got so many talented players on the pitch.
No, we've got a lot of out of sorts players and players who might otherwise not be playing.
Yeah, but you've still got talented. You look at that midfield of Celtic, £11 million, McGregor, Hatate that everybody rates. You look at Rangers as well, with the wingers, with the pace, everything.
Players feeling pressure, though. That's what it looks like. It looks like the players that have got the weight of the world on their shoulders, and rightfully so for different reasons we spoke about earlier.
Liked it. It's tense, it's a bit mad. What's not to like? Negron tried to twist and turn, and Giga gets it stuck under his feet. This is the tension that the guys are speaking about.
No, that's not tension. That's him all over. Like, honestly, every time I've seen him play for Rangers, and like you said, not talking about writing players off, the fact that Wolves paid £10 million for him, I've not seen what he offers. He's not commanding in terms of defending. On the ball, he looks shaky. I don't know what he offers to this Rangers team.
Go on, Marv. I like that. Get him off.
Wait till he bangs 2 in for 3 kicks against Livy.
That reminded me of your infamous Graham Shinnie moment there. I thought he was going to go that far.
Oh no.
You ever heard of it, this, Marv?
No.
This is one of his famous ones from years ago. Graham Shinnie is an unexpected call up to the Scotland squad to play in Kazakhstan. They lose 3-0. 4-0? Anyway, 3-0 away in Kazakhstan. And Gordon says he doesn't see what Graham Shinnie brings to football. And I tried to dig him, I tried to help him. I said, well, like international football. And he said, no, just football.
Wow.
Graham Shinnie pulled him up about it.
I was sitting next to him,
Gordon's backside was making buttons.
And I could see him looking round, and I'm thinking, oh, half time he's coming for me. By the way, I've got to say, he was the nicest guy I've met. I apologised, honestly.
It was like that scene in In-Betweeners. Sorry.
I was humble.
You apologise for having an opinion.
No, there's an opinion and there's disrespectful.
Yeah, it was terrible,
yeah,
and I apologised.
He learned from it, though.
Anyway,
guy.
Here comes Magoma for the first time. We've not really seen much of Rangers in a wide area at all. I'd call that probably a hopeful ball that Liam Scales just heads out for a throw in, maybe 40 odd yards out.
Milski wasn't happy at all with that ball. He's almost looked back to say, what kind of service is that? Keep moving the ball rather than, like you said there, Gordon, swinging in a hopeful ball.
This season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet. Want to see them leave early. Want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future. Want to hear them agree. And if not, I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
There he is. Rangers player of the year.
What did I tell you?
Giga pressed by Daizen Maeda, and if luckily
honestly,
and is that a free kick to Celtic?
Yeah, because then there's a fight. He just, I don't understand it. It's like he's got no plan in his mind at all when he's coming forward with the ball.
Forget the plan. It was a heavy old touch.
I know. I thought he was going to slide in after it as well, which would have then landed him in serious trouble. But just give it simple. Just get the ball and give it simple.
Ooh, Kieran Tierney's down. I think it's more of a kick that he feels he's taken on the ankle rather than anything.
He reminded me a little bit of you there, Marv, just running forward until you lost it.
I would not be running forward. I'll be running after Matt Wilson.
So anyway, 24 and a half gone. Rangers 0, Celtic 0. Rangers would probably have been relatively satisfied with their first kind of 5-10 minutes. It's then not really developed into anything. I don't think Celtic will be that happy with their start either.
There's at least a suggestion of menace about Rangers. But
I think there still is.
Well,
I think Celtic are grown into the game, Hugh. Celtic are definitely grown into the game.
Well, the game's going backwards.
It's not the greatest. It's not a classic. I didn't think we'd ever get a classic.
Well, it's a rampaging run from Cameron Carter-Vickers, but he overdoes it. And now if Rangers can find those spaces that he's vacated, Mikey Moore, you can see he's trying. He's going one way and then the other, comes back across the pitch. Quite intelligent for a player so young. Into Connor Barron. Big day for him, starting his first game of the season.
Do you know what I liked there, and I think Rangers fans will love it, the fact that Majowski chases Carter-Vickers all the way back, gets the tackle in, and then his first initial reaction is, I'm up the pitch.
Forward.
Yeah, so listen, that's what Rangers fans will buy into that, and Majowski brings that in abundance.
Yeah, I mean, Cyril Dessers is a hard enough worker, isn't he? There's just something that's just never quite clicked there because of the chances. I take it his place on the bench when Majowski just comes in tells you that is he going to be sold as well, would you expect? Will Dessers be a Rangers player in the coming days?
I think Rangers will hope to keep him. I think Danilo would be the one I think
they won't, no offence, they won't sell Danilo. I don't think. I really don't mean to be harsh, but
that sounds like a Graham Shinney kind of comment there, Gordon.
No, it's he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
But seriously, who's buying Danilo at this point?
Yeah, whether it's a loan, whatever it might be, I think you'd much prefer to keep Dessers. But as you said there, with him being on the bench, I think it shows that Majowski is going to be the number one striker. But Dessers still has a part to play. How often do you see managers speak about it? It's the players that finish the game, not the ones that start it, that are going to be the most important. So he could play a big part to that.
I said 45 minutes was all Majowski had played this season. He's not showing any signs of that so far, Gordon. He's working a lot.
He's putting in a shift, Gordon. He'll run out of petrol in the second half, there's no doubt of that.
Here's the bit, Hugh, the PR bit that Russell Martin's still managing here, because we're talking about the game. There are Nico Raskin chants going round Ibrox now. That's not good for the manager.
I think that's no, it's not good for the manager. It's not a good look or sound, but he's brought it upon himself, and I think those Rangers supporters who are tired of him already are watching his press conferences and they're not getting it.
Dyson Maeda's had his pocket picked by Giga. You can give your man some credit here.
Yeah, he's got a foul as well. That's better. That's defending. That's proper defending. That's what you want to.
Is that quite a generous advantage from Don Robertson? Don't think Rangers will be complaining, but they get a chance to put the ball in the box. Yeah, Nico Raskin chance. That's just awkward then, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he must go tomorrow, Nico Raskin. I mean, he's not going to play for Rangers again under Russell Martin. I don't think.
To be fair, Hugh, I totally agree with that, but I've seen many a fallout, and then if he doesn't leave the building, there might be a case. There's always a way back. Always. Yeah. I don't see it just now. I totally agree with you. But if he stays in the building, there's no point having a guy who's been called up to the Belgium squad with the talent they've got and not using them. So
surely a loan with some sort of obligation for whoever it is looks like that'd be the easiest thing to arrange at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And Tavernier's into the box. It's great defending by Liam Scales.
I do agree with Marvin. Look, we don't know what's happening inside that dressing room and training and everything. But if you've got a player that's a problem, doesn't matter how good they are, you cannot accept that as a manager. You've got to move them on.
Okay, another corner for Rangers, another outswinger from Connor Barron. It's sort of the front post that's loaded, really. Just waiting patiently, trying to pick out, and it's not a bad delivery again, but again it's actually Dyson Maeda. He's crucial to a lot of what Celtic do. I always remember Kyogo used to do that one, Marvin, didn't he? He would defend the front post and
defend it extremely well. Like you said, they're honest players, aren't they? Maeda and Kyogo, both of them, and they just put their head where it hurts at times, which is not something that you'd label them, because they're not the most physical of type, but they're honest type.
Yeah, corner doesn't come to anything. That might frustrate Rangers a bit, because they've not looked like carving that much out so far. Ball over the top. Is that brought back for a free kick to Rangers? I think it is, against Arne Engels.
You see Majowski wanted that played on there. He wants to get in the foot race, didn't he? He fancied the foot race with Carter Vickers and Scales there.
I don't think there's a lot in it. No, I don't think there's a lot in that, if I'm honest.
Been a lot of stops, haven't there?
Yeah,
it's just been, in the last few minutes.
It's not been a classic, as you say.
You're banned from saying that now, though. You said that about 4 times. Okay.
I'll try and get a new word.
Especially when I'm actually enjoying it a bit. That's
I'm quite enjoying it as well. It's mad, and that's what we sign up for.
Let me tell you right now, if I was in these stands, I would be in the M8 by now.
You don't even like football, that's the problem. You genuinely don't really like football.
I want
that
a
much.
bit of excitement, Gordon.
It's tense. That is exciting.
Tense, but
Arne Engels penalised again for a foul on Diomande again. Probably not much in either of them, but he's still giving away a couple.
Just to go back to those Nico Raskin chants, the crowd now back the player, not the manager. Even though they're doing reasonably well against Celtic and getting the ball shifted quicker.
He's turned to the inside out.
Yeah, still no shots on goal for either team. So the latest stats at the half hour mark, 65% possession to Celtic, no shots. Rangers, no shots either. So both trying to sharpen their cutting edge a little bit. As we said, Celtic you'd probably expect them still, even under Russell Martin, you'd expect Celtic to knock it about a bit better, and they have, but even at that, nothing's ever really looked like coming to fruition. And that's a really good tackle from Bojan Miovski. His work off the ball has been his most impressive asset so far.
It's his reaction, Gordon, to giving the ball away, because it comes into him there, he doesn't hold it up, doesn't throw his hands in the air because he's giving it away. He goes and gets the ball back, and like you said, that's all football fans want. They understand you're not going to keep it at all times, but Russell might be hoping that's infectious for the rest of the players as well.
And are those the ones that Celtic fans have always sort of felt Arne Engels has to do a bit better? He's always just looking for... I don't think Celtic fans have given up on him because he's young and he had moments last season, and everyone keeps banging on about the transfer fee.
That's a problem.
I still feel like they just want a little bit more from him. Would that be fair?
Yeah, when he came in, I really liked him. I think he will. More I think he will come good. It is the transfer price that they paid for him. Obviously, that's hanging over his head. Good opportunity today for him because he's been left out a few games. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers decided to go with the other three in the middle of the park, but today he's given an opportunity, and you've got to grasp that.
I've always got a bit of sympathy for players on those ones. So Ralston's on the ground. It's the one where the ref accuses you of trapping the ball between your feet and gives a free kick. I'm never really sure what else you're meant to do.
That's the thing, because it's almost like you're trying to get it out of your feet to kick it, but at some point it's going to be. But you understand the referee's point of view, it becomes dangerous.
Free kick Rangers, and we've got a goal at Ibrox.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Someone's taking a sore one. It's John Souttar, but it doesn't matter because it's Rangers 1, Celtic 0. He doesn't even know what's going on. Kasper Schmeichel's protesting, but as things stand, Rangers 1, Celtic 0.
And they deserve the lead, and Celtic are bang in trouble, because I think that they do not look like a team.
Hold on, might be offside.
He's offside.
Well, we'll need to wait and see once the lines are drawn. But John Souttar, if it is him that heads it, I think he could be in trouble because his shoulder did look
he's
off.
around. I think it's quite a bit, is it? Oh, it is Souttar that heads it.
We'll need to wait and see. I'll tell you what, we're hoping it is, because offside's offside, but Celtic don't defend that well at all.
No, and Souttar and Schmeichel's caught in no man's land. He's came and decided, no, I'm not going to get there.
But he's off.
Oh, he's off.
We'll wait and see. But I think you're probably right. It's hard to tell whoever's behind him. Maybe Scales, but certainly from the angles we can see, it does look like he is going to be offside. He's rubbing his head. He's still taking a bit of a dunt. Didn't actually see the connection on his head. But Don Robertson will just be getting word from Clydesdale House. And the other concern for Celtic is that Liam Scales is down. Remember, Austin Trusty's injured as well at the moment, so that would be another big issue.
Yeah, it'd be Murray to come on, wouldn't it, at centre half, you imagine. But just there, Gordon, like you said, we'll see if it's offside or not. That's what I was speaking about earlier, making Celtic defend, putting the ball into their box, and that's why Rangers obviously going with the long throws, and at every opportunity they were trying to put crosses in there, because just there, he said Schmeichel comes, doesn't get to it, he might be offside, but it'll be a massive warning for Celtic.
Okay, whistle to the mouth, or waiting in the hand signal from Don Robertson. Yes, VAR signal, and it is offside. Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Got away with one, but it clearly is offside. It's a goal that Rangers could have really capitalised on and gone to town on Celtic, I think. But it's 0-0, and I think the story of the game so far for me, as I said earlier, there is a hint of menace about Rangers. There's no hint of menace from Celtic.
Still, neither side's had a shot on goal, though. No. Are either that menacing if there are no shots?
I just think that Rangers are threatening.
If you're going to say who would score the first goal just now, you would say probably Ray. I'd sort of agree with that. Celtic in the forward line have offered absolutely nothing. The front three have offered nothing.
I think
McGregor's hardly been seen in the middle of the park. Hatate,
How do you
Engels.
view those ones, Marvin? Because I think I can almost hear the two sides of the argument there. That's a warning sign for Celtic. That's ropey from Celtic. On the other hand, it's a good line. He's offside. You can't score a goal from an offside position.
No, definitely. And I praised that line earlier, and again, they've done it again. It's a lot tighter that time. But you would be saying just to be careful, because we now understand what they're going to try and do. So it's either we get that right, 100% right, Gordon, every single time, or we get ourselves into a better defensive position. The thing that will worry them there is that suitors between Scales and the goal. You probably want Scales the other side of it. But like you said there, it's a brilliant line for them, so they'll take that.
I think what could be more worrying would be that injury, Gordon, if it is Liam Scales. Yeah, there was the one he got done in behind, but he's shown that when it's back to the wall stuff, he can be quite reliable for Celtic. And if Dane Murray was going to have to come on, not only is he young and untested at this level, he's right-sided as well.
Yeah.
You want to go even further later in the game? Would you have been surprised to see Scales go to left back?
Left back
and come off?
Yeah, because he doesn't complete 90 minutes just now, so it will be a worry. But he's run back on the pitch, so they're going to give him 5-10 minutes, see if he can run it off. But he looks okay. Looks okay.
Now we find out if that goal is going to breathe some life into Rangers, or the disallowed goal I should say breathes life into Rangers or not. This is where Celtic are maybe just a bit shorter than they used to be. When they get it out wide, do you ever really feel like anything is going to come of it? I don't think you do, and that'll be a free kick.
They've lost that spark in the wide areas, haven't they? You're right, Gordon. When they got that in the wide areas, things were going to happen. He could go either way. He could go down the outside, or he could come in on his left foot, bounce things off, have a shot, be a real threat. Celtic don't look like they've got
also
that.
just quick.
Yeah,
we said that about Balikwisha.
Jota on the other side, I think exact same.
People can forgive you if it's not always coming off and you're not always dribbling past three players, but can you carry the ball? Can you do it quickly? Can you take your team from one position,
take them up the pitch? I would be tempted if I was Brendan Rodgers to get Maeda onto that left hand side. It's something we spoke about.
Who plays up front?
Listen, at the moment he's not really doing too much through the middle. He's not getting the service, is he? And in wide areas they're not doing too much either. So I think it's one of those things that James Tavernier season goes out there and instantly, from a mental point of view, you think, here we go again. And Maeda thinks he's got the beat on James Tavernier as well. I just don't think it's working at that top end of it.
I agree with you, but Gordon makes a great point. Who do you play through the middle?
Goes up front.
Who?
Shin.
He would be totally, make a substitution.
Totally lost. No, not in the first half. But I'm saying as this game goes on.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, Maeda would be totally lost in this.
Now I understand.
Who's not lost in the top end?
They all are a bit at the moment, aren't they? I do take both points. Anyway, another free kick for Rangers. Can they find the back of the net from a more
poor delivery
legal
from Tavernier
position this time? Yeah, 37 minutes gone. I suppose technically we've still not had a shot on goal from either. Nearly under hit from McCormack, but Maeda, we've not seen much of Celtic in an attacking sense. And that's poor from Jack Butland as well. It's going to go all the way through.
It'll be alright though, because it's not going to.
It's
like a rugby one, isn't it?
You kick for touch.
Yeah.
It's effective enough. It's definitely not what he was trying to do though.
Yeah, he drags it into that area, but again, willing runner at the top end makes a bad ball into a half decent one. And he gets after it, and you just see there, don't you, with the stats on the screen there, Gordon. A lot of it's been played in Celtic's defensive.
Yeah, the territory now is edging in Rangers' favour, and it's funny, it's a departure probably from what Russell Martin envisaged when he came, but I don't think he would complain if he won the game and then get back to the drawing board.
It's not a day for idealism. We don't need Russell Martin's idealism. Rangers need to win the match, and they're going about their business in a way that promises a result. And here's Balikwisha now.
Yeah, first time we've seen him when he does take advantage. Again, it's such an early pass. I can't believe he won't keep a hold of this ball, Gordon.
Listen, he's just panicking. He's got a great opportunity there. Tavernier slips. Get at him. Get at the defence. Cause problems.
The first touch was nice.
Yeah, but it's like, I want rid of the ball as quick as I possibly can. He puts a nothing ball into an area that comes to absolute nothing for Celtic.
Celtic actually had a chance there, Marvin.
Yeah.
To actually, to hurt Rangers. I think even
as a winger, that's where you want to be, Gordon. That's the ideal situation. As Gordon said there, Tavernier slips over, put it into the space and just run and make him defend. And that's what I'm talking about, getting Maeda in those sorts of situations. You know what you're going to get from that. They're not giving him any service through the middle. I would be so interested to see how many touches he's had of the ball, and he's Celtic's best attacking player, and he's just starved of anything at all at the moment.
I'll be honest with you, the way things are going, I would maybe give him a wee break at half time. I really would. I'd say to him, listen, just you go and get a nice
first
hot
game
shower.
though, it's difficult to do that as a manager.
A cup of tea.
He's making his debut. He came in only yesterday. He starts today. He taking off.
I'll tell you what, the Rangers' long throw counter as well. I'm with you guys. Did not know Tavernier could throw it quite that far.
Unbelievable.
That's an absolute
it's new to me.
rocket from James Tavernier, and it just causes uncertainty. It's always that second, third, fourth ball, Marvin, isn't it? It's not like it comes to anything initially, but it just allows you to keep the pressure on.
100%. Like you say, it's not the first ball, Gordon, because you can header that first ball away, but very rarely will you clear the box with that first header, and then it's about picking up the next one.
What's happening here? Oh, it's a free kick to Rangers. Do you think Max Shearings...
Maida's taking an absolute whack in the face. He's bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah. Do you think Max Shearings is sitting in the dugout saying, he can throw the ball longer than me as well?
I've got nothing over this guy.
His stats beat me, and now you can throw the ball longer than me. Better get back down the road.
Dyson Maida just stopped, and I still don't really know where the infringement against Celtic was.
No,
for it to go the other way, but he's got blood pouring from his mouth, Dyson Maida.
That's like a sore one, doesn't it? And that's obviously he's now going to have to come off when they're defending this free kick, and him and Scales have been the two that have got their head to majority of things for Celtic, so they have to readjust now.
I'm trying to see it again. Is Maida? So I mean, Barron grabs it. Barron's got a hold of his shirt, and then the elbow sort of catches him. Does Conor Barron do anything?
Nah, listen, it's one of those things. Your arms, two players coming together, your arm goes up a little bit. There's no intention from him there. Still don't know how Rangers have got the free kick mind, but yeah, there's nothing intentional for me.
Balikwisha was over involved as well in a defensive capacity, but I think it's safe to say Celtic fans, Brendan Rodgers, would be hoping for more from him in an attacking sense, because he's had some opportunities. Yeah,
he's been negative, you've got to say. Look, I totally understand it. It's a massive game, and you come out there, he's never probably experienced atmosphere like that before.
It's not even his fault. It's a fault of where Celtic are. That's the point. If you had wingers who were any better, they would play.
Well, we're back to Brendan Rodgers' Friday press conference where he said that give me players in July, don't give me them the day before the game. But he looks, Balikwisha, as if he wishes he'd be back at Go Ahead Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think you can judge him this fixture. You just got to give him time to settle in.
Listen, you said you'd take him off at half time.
I would, but I'm not judging him for his Celtic career on 45 minutes against Rangers at Ibrox. I think
Majowski, he was signed from Antwerp, by the way. That was the other.
I think Majowski,
you know someone else will pick you up on it, so I might as well do it.
Oh, a chance.
Yeah, it doesn't really come to anything. Just some
corner offside
bounces around. Is the offside flag up? I think it's a corner. I think it's a corner to Rangers.
They're causing problems from set plays, Rangers. Celtic look a bit edgy in defence, but so far nothing's came of it.
Yeah, Maida's back on to try and defend this corner kick at the front post.
Takes up that important role again, doesn't he? Like you said, he's got his head to a lot of the corners that have came in. Him and Liam Scales have been the main two for Celtic. They need to do the same again now, as Rangers will now be building in confidence as well. They'll be thinking, we've had one disallowed from a set play. Can we get our head onto another one?
Well, the goal looks like it's going to come from a set play.
Yeah, there's been no chances created.
Nobody's created anything at all worth talking about.
It's another good front post header. I think it's this time from Callum McGregor. Rangers looking to keep it alive. Celtic don't ever look like breaking with the same menace that they used to, albeit Maida does well to close down Barron.
Well, the Celtic fans watching it will simply go back to the board's inactivity. I go back to the cup final in May. It was obvious that the squad was seriously depleted. They finished the cup final with Yang up front and Johnny Kenny, but nothing's been done to address the problem.
They can't totally keep blaming the board. The players are out there.
Right, hold on. Here's the first chance. And Butland does really well. I was going to say it's the first chance for that back line of Rangers to be tested chasing their own goal. They've not done very well at that, in case you hadn't noticed watching the Bruges game. But maybe that's part of it. Jack Butland being more alert as well. We saw was that the home game against Bruges where he hesitated, Gordon, and it's poor from Anthony Ralston. Really poor. Throw into Rangers.
Anthony Ralston is an honest professional, but a very limited football player.
I just think that they're giving the ball in a situation there as well where you can see he's being pressed, and you're passing the ball to somebody. He's got Mikey Moore flying at him at 100 miles an hour.
I think you're being generous there.
No? You think he should have done better?
He controls it and then kicked it out with his other foot.
Leave the guy alone. No, you could be right, Gordon.
You're in the wrong studio, mate.
Kasper Schmeichel slides out to gather, heading towards the half-time interval. There was a slight delay for a offside check. There was Liam Scales Daisen Maeda, are we going to get much added time?
There's
another nice ball
behind.
out to Balikwisha.
Oh, that's too easy.
He's been penalised.
I'll tell you what.
It's an interesting call.
James Havin has brought that for me.
I would like to see that again.
If Balikwisha's pushed him in the back, fine, but if he hasn't,
if he's pushed him in the back, it's ridiculous from him.
It's not a foul.
No, he just used his body.
No.
Clever play. You get a referee decision to make there.
Rangers really getting away with one. Balikwisha doesn't. He actually just tries to turn and run towards the ball.
Never a free kick in a million years.
Wow.
Never a free kick. Rangers got away with one.
Yeah, let off. I know he's not been great at Balikwisha, but again, he would have had the chance to run into the box.
He'd have probably turned back.
Connor Barron heads it in the air, so does Mikey Moore. It's about head Tennessee to end the first 4 minutes actually added. I didn't quite expect as much as that. It's the first time we've seen Magoma get past a man. There's a deflection, but Carter Vickers boots it clear.
Do you know, I look at the important part of the pitch. I've not seen any of the midfielders from any team dominating this game.
It's been scrappy, hasn't it?
It's been, isn't it? You look at Celtic, can't remember McGregor, Hatate, Ingles has been slack at times. You look at Rangers,
Barron's been the most involved.
But
not seen Asgard or Diamandi.
Probably through tackling and Preston and everything else.
Chance for Anthony Ralston does really well this time. Just turns away from Magoma, and then Rangers might have a problem at left back here because he'll be miles out, but Nygren does poorly. Diamandi, who I said we hadn't seen much of, does excellently, and now he comes scampering down the line.
I'm going to go a wee bit earlier in this Nygren one, right? I've not seen enough of him to say he's been a terrific signing for Celtic so far.
Is he not more effective in the pitch though, rather than playing out wide?
Gordon, but he was slack there for me. I think.
Come on, Marvin.
That's brilliant defending.
That's twice now.
But that's what you want to see.
Giga's done very well twice.
That's twice in 8 games. As I said, against Bruges, 100% balls going in the box. He's not defending, and he's built into this game, by the way, because he only got caught in his own box, didn't he, when Celtic were pressing him? But those last 2 occasions with Maeda, he's been absolutely brilliant. Again,
Gordon, then that comes back to the Celtic thing where Maeda can be effective through the middle for sure, but not there, not on the halfway line. No. Where he's back to goal.
It's not his strength, Gordon. Look, I like Maeda through the middle.
It's an early cross from Mikey Moore. It's a really, really poor one all the way to Kasper Schmeichel.
But I've got to say, I think everyone Celtic fans will agree, Maeda's form since the start of the season has been really, really poor. He's been off it.
Yeah, one header against Falkirk, his only goal, and the misses. I mean, you could argue that he had the Champions League in his hands in Kazakhstan on Tuesday night, and the miss at the end was shocking. But I always said last season's Player of the Year, there are absolutely no guarantees that you can replicate that.
If we're being honest, it was going to be unlikely that he replicated it. He's maybe even gone back even further than people feared, but that's why he was Player of the Year at a time when Kuhn was contributing and Jota was signed and others. If he regresses at the same time as Celtic's other attacking threat diminishes, Gordon, that's when Brendan Rodgers is going to have a massive problem in his hands.
Yeah, and it looks like that's happening just now. It's going to be interesting the second half. Surely Brendan Rodgers must be looking maybe to change something here.
But look at the bench.
I know, but I'm looking at wide area. I'm looking maybe
Forrest, Yang.
Yeah, I'm looking something different, because I just think that Celtic are a team sitting there waiting to get outdone with a set play.
And how does? So you mean try and take the initiative and score yourself?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I think
because a change won't necessarily help.
You look at Celtic's wide areas; they're so negative. There's no pace, there's nothing in behind. Here's a chance here. Now surely he gets onto this and he takes Tavernier on.
Yeah, it's the end of the half.
Yeah, he's got to.
He's drinking one way then the other. He does.
It goes back the way. Yeah,
he does go back, but it keeps it alive this time. It's that's not as bad as some of the others. I don't think. Oh my goodness, Mikey Moore slashes the ball, somebody's down in the box. It's so scrappy, isn't it? Neither side. Are we going to end this half with no shots on goal from either team?
I think so.
Looks like it.
I think so.
Yeah, you're right though, Gordon. It's the Balikwisha. It's actually structurally it's quite good from Celtic, because that's what you're trying to do. Carter Vickers hit a diagonal, get your winger going at the back four, but then he just doesn't.
Tavernier is winning that battle, and that's the thing. From a defensive point of
half time.
Let's speak to Ross McCormack and Andrew Maclean.
Rangers 0, Celtic 0, the half-time score. A real lack of goal-mouth action to tell you about in that 45 minutes. Celtic have had more of the possession. Rangers have looked slightly sharper in the final third. A bit chaotic, a bit of a mess, but we do kind of expect that in these games, don't we? The first real talking point was 7 minutes in. Bojan Miovski going down after a collision with Liam Scales in the box. Big shouts from the Rangers support, but no penalty according to referee Don Robertson. It looked to be the right call as well on that occasion. Rangers were going a bit more direct than normal. Jack Butland not taking as many risks as he has done in the early stages of this season. James Tavernier trying to cause some danger with long throws when Celtic got the ball forward, looking pretty blunt really when they were in and around that Rangers box. Then 32 minutes in, almost the moment that broke the deadlock, James Tavernier with a deep free kick. It was a good delivery. John Souttar got up high to head it past Kasper Schmeichel. Wild celebrations in the stands, but it went to a VAR review. The lines were drawn and Souttar was shown to be offside and the goal was ruled out. It has been a tense affair so far at Ibrox. The half-time score is Rangers 0, Celtic 0. What have you made of it so far, Ross?
Yes, Andrew, I think there's been a severe lack of quality here. All, as the guys are saying in the studio, all chaotic, no quality. Balikwisha, every time he gets the ball on the left, keeps cutting back. Go and take your full back on and try and create something. Miovski probably tried to buy the penalty. Apart from that, you've got the Souttar goal, which is probably offside, right call. Other than that, there's not much to talk about at all.
In terms of the two managers, would you say Russell Martin's probably going to be the happier of the two going in at the break?
Well, going by what we see on the sidelines here, Andrew, I've constantly seen Brendan Rodgers, throwing his arms in the air. He's getting on it, his defenders. I think he wants them to be positioned somewhere different to what they are just now. I think Anthony Ralston's a bit of a concern to him. He's took his eye off the ball a couple of times. It's going under his foot. Similarly, on the other side, Giga, every time he gets the ball, you can sense the atmosphere in the stand here. They are so nervous every time he gets in. It's almost a sigh of relief when he releases the ball.
Yeah, well, the substitutes just making their way out to warm up. Surely a few of those will be called on, whether it is now, whether it is 10-15 minutes into the second half, to add a bit of spark to this game, because the half-time score at Ibrox is Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, quite short on talking points, as we said. We'll let the guys catch breath, gather their thoughts. We'll take a look back at that first 45, assess whether any substitutions will be made, and build up to the second half as well when we return.
Number 1 for football, 7 days a week. Rangers v Celtic. This is Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard.
Half time in the first Old Firm game of the new season. It is goalless. One of the most intriguing build-ups we've had in a long time. It hasn't quite transpired into a dramatic match. It is goalless. Very few efforts, no shots on target from either. Celtic edging the possession stats, but not a lot to go on. Hugh Keevins, how would you sum it up?
They look like two teams who had a humiliation in Europe in midweek. They are desperately low on quality. But for me, Rangers are looking like the team who will win this match, and Celtic look like a team who need to make changes at half time. Balikwisha looks as if the idea of playing him straight away has misfired. He doesn't look comfortable in the atmosphere. Having said that, Benji Nygren, absolutely nothing either. The entire midfield, nothing. So at the moment, Celtic are getting away with one.
I don't think they've been a standout in the first half. I think you've got to say Miovski, if you're a Rangers fan, you'll be delighted with his work rate. He made a good run, put a bit of pressure on Scales. Correct decision, let's not be kidded here. It was never a penalty kick. But the quality of the game is really, really poor. I think two teams just desperate for something to happen. Rangers look the most dangerous, especially at set plays, causing Celtic a few problems. But as far as a spectacle goes, it's very, very bland.
It's maybe a sign, Marvin, of how much negativity there is surrounding Rangers going into this, because I think everybody sort of feels it. I'm looking at social media, everyone kind of saying, Rangers will be kind of happier and they're like the better side or whatever. They've had less of the ball and they've not had any shots on target. So it maybe kind of shows you where the pre-match expectations are, because I'm not disagreeing. I think that is the feeling you get. Rangers do look a bit edgier, they look like they're up for it a bit more. there's not a lot to go on, really, is there?
Yeah, I think the pre-match pressure as well was massive upon the players and the manager. For Celtic, as I said, they've won every game so far domestically. Yes, they were poor in Europe, and we all know about that. But Rangers have been poor in Europe and poor domestically. So, this kind of scrappy game definitely suits them better. It looks like two teams are extremely nervous. Nobody wants to make that mistake, and the way Celtic play when they're at their best is that they take risks with the ball, and they just haven't done that today. As you said about Rangers as well, they've gone a lot more direct, trying to get the ball in behind.
Ross McCormack is at Ibrox. Ross, what's the atmosphere been like? Because it's been a strange build-up. I mean, bumping into people that say they prefer Rangers to lose so that the manager gets sacked, or they don't care about this game, but I always think that probably goes out the window. What's the atmosphere been like?
Yeah, that's never going to be the case here, is it, Gordon? I think pre-match it was, the atmosphere was incredible. I was struggling to hear what Andrew was saying pre-match, but I must admit, during the first half, there's probably one or two times when the atmosphere picked up. Other than that, they're probably feeling the same way as we are. There's just been nothing much to shout about at all.
And Andrew Maclean, there were pro Nico Raskin chants. Is that the case?
Yeah, I think it was initially started by the Union Bears, as a lot of the songs are at Ibrox, but not often does a song that's started by the supporters groups, the singing section, does it tend to spread around the full stadium. But with that song, that's been one of the only ones so far today that you could see that spread around the stadium. You could hear it, and it happened on a couple of occasions just in the middle of that first half where there was a bit of a lull. You do wonder whether Russell Martin was taking any of that in, whether he was too concentrated on the game. But Rangers fans certainly making their stance clear that they're not happy that Nico Raskin isn't here, that he's not in the squad, that he wasn't able to train with the first team on Friday. So no matter whether Rangers come out of this with a good result or not, there's still going to be that fractured relationship between some of the Rangers supporters and Russell Martin, because with him being such a fan favourite last season and now looking like he's heading for the exit door on Monday, it's really not going to come to a good conclusion, you'd think, between the manager and the supporters.
I'm not sure the Miovski and Scales one will go down as one of the great Old Firm refereeing debates, but in the absence of anything else, how was that one in the stadium? Was there a real sense of fury from Rangers that they didn't get what they wanted, or was it not quite that strong?
Yeah, there were certainly big calls, weren't there, Ross, from the Rangers supporters. The big roar went up. They were fully expecting a penalty to be given, and I think certainly from where we were sitting, when you see it in first view, it's one of those where you think, potentially it could be given, because you can't see the full picture. But as you guys mentioned, you watch it back and the people in the stands don't get the luxury of that. It looked as if it would have been an incredibly soft penalty. It looked as if Don Robertson made the right decision. But as always in these games, any time there is a challenge or anyone goes down in the box, the supporters will call for it. But it's not as if Don Robertson has been getting it in the neck from supporters since. It's one that's maybe been quickly forgotten about.
Like I said, it's in the absence of anything else. I'm not trying to make it into something it's not, Hugh. We've seen bigger, more debatable incidents, but for the record, what do you think now, having seen it back?
Oh, I've seen it so many times now. I do think that Scales has his arm on Miovski's back, but the VAR had a look at it. The referee, in his own mind, wasn't for giving a penalty, so you move on, and the next call, the offside call, he is clearly offside. My overriding impression of the 45 minutes is that Rangers look as if they've got a goal in them, Celtic don't.
Penalty or not for you?
No, not for me. And I was one of the ones that Andrew's speaking about, on first view, and I did think it was a penalty. But as you see the replay there, as I said, Miovski's the one that initiates a contact with Scales' left ankle, I think it is. So the referee made the correct decision, and I was wrong on first viewing.
Never a penalty kick for me. I think that at first when I seen it, I thought, Scales is in trouble here. I thought it was a penalty, but when you see the replays, I think everybody agree it's not a penalty kick.
Okay, that's us exhausted the talking points from the first half. What about the personnel issues out there, Andrew Maclean? Sometimes you get a little sneak preview of what the managers are thinking. Are all the subs out? Has anyone been called back in?
Yeah, Ross and I were watching that closely just as the starting players made their way down the tunnel. The substitutes came out straight away. Celtic's full allocation of outfield substitutes came out and have been warming up since. As for Rangers, there was one player missing for quite a good while. It was Cyril Dessers. He then ended up coming out just a few minutes after his fellow substitute, so it doesn't look as if there are going to be changes for either side. But when you look at the players out there warming up at the moment, Ross, who are the ones you think that Brendan Rodgers and Russell Martin are likely to turn to first to try and add a bit of spark to this game?
Well, you would imagine Miovski's probably not played a lot of football. What's he had, 45 minutes this season, so you would imagine that come 65, 70 he'll probably look as if he's blowing a gasket and Dessers will come on. As for Celtic, I'd be looking probably take Balikwisha off, probably bring Forrest on and ask him to hold the width, because Engels has hit that diagonal pass a couple of times and they can isolate Tavernier against Forrest out there. That could be a good avenue for them. Other than that, there's not too much. If it was me, I'd be looking to bring the young boy Donovan on for Ralston. I think Ralston's killed Celtic a couple of times, but other than that, there's not much.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see. You look at the balance of the two players that have been thrown in for their debut. Bojan Miovski hasn't really been on the ball all that much, but I think he's probably made a positive impression to some Rangers supporters just with his hard work and his pressing and what he's done off the ball, whereas Michel Anga Balikwisha has seen a lot more of the ball than Bojan Miovski, but maybe just isn't doing the positive things that Brendan Rodgers and the Celtic supporters will have been wanting him to do. And as we say, it is only 45 minutes into his Celtic career.
Yeah, it shows you that's what the Rangers fans have been asking for weeks, just a little bit of heart and a little bit of fight, and Miovski's provided that. Now when he gets fitter, he'll bring a lot more quality to his game, and then when it comes up to him, he'll be able to get the likes of Asgard and Mikey Moore, Gassam into the game more, and that'll only benefit Rangers.
Yeah, the Celtic players just making their way out the tunnel. Callum McGregor, the first of those, making his way onto the pitch, followed by Anthony Ralston, Cameron Carter-Vickers and the rest as well, just waiting for the Rangers players to come out the tunnel. But we talked about those signs of unrest amongst the Rangers supporters over the last few weeks. I look over to my right here, there is one flag that has the face of Russell Martin, the face of Patrick Stewart, has the red circle with a cross through it, and it says Martin and co must go. So no matter what happens in this game, no matter whether Rangers come out and win this second half, there is still going to be that discontent amongst the Rangers supporters going forward, just based on what's happened so far this season, Ross.
Yeah, it is, and I think one of the big ways for me, I know Marvin touched on it at the first half, one of the big ways for me to limit the chances of them losing this game is to take Giga off. He is an absolute bomb scare at the back, honestly. Every time he gets the ball, I can't watch him. I'm scared for him.
Well, Bojan Miovski is standing over the ball. He's waiting for the signal from Don Robertson. No goals so far at Ibrox, not even a shot on target yet at Ibrox. Hopefully we're in for a bit more action around the goalmouths in the second half. Don Robertson blows his whistle and we are underway for the second half.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
No changes for either side at the break. Rangers do the rugby thing, try and kick to touch at the start of the second half, but it's going to be a goal kick. You're not allowed to, obviously, but just out of curiosity, would anyone change their pre-match predictions?
No.
You went for Rangers 2-1. Sticking with that.
I would change it to 0-0 instead of 1-1.
At least it would be the right outcome.
Yeah, no, I'll be going an odd goal either way. I'm all over the place.
We'll see. Yeah. We will see. We'll see. 45 minutes have come and gone, and no shots on target from either side. Hardly any shots at goal, actually, from either side. And the stat doing the rounds at the break is a damning one for Celtic, I think, because they're the only team this season that haven't had a first half shot against Rangers. Well, now, a quick caveat, Hugh. This has been a more aggressive, better Rangers performance than they've offered in those games. Yeah. But still, Alloa, Dundee, Motherwell, they all had chances against Rangers early in the game, and Celtic haven't.
Alloa scored twice at Ibrox. Celtic won't do that. Celtic failed to score in Glasgow against Karat Almaty. Failed to score in 2 hours of football in Kazakhstan against Karat Almaty. Don't look as if they've got a goal in them today. It's alarming the way the squad has gone into decline, and the intensity of feeling against the board will continue. But it's an astonishing state of affairs that 11 games into Russell Martin's time at Ibrox, the banners are out.
Yeah,
calling on him to go, and Patrick Stewart has been dragged into it as well.
Yeah, it's quite something. That can't be easy for the manager, Gordon, because you got a job today as Mikey Moore hits one down Paisley Road West. it might win today, and there'll be big celebrations, and it's a great feeling if you beat your rivals. They're very much in this game, and they could win it. Banners with your head and that of your boss on it, saying that you need to go at half time is not ideal.
Yeah, I've been in those shoes. It's not nice, and you try to block it out, Gordon, concentrate in the game, but you know it's there, especially in a game the size of this and the noise that you'll be hearing. Look, the fans have turned right against him. That's why I said, if he loses us today, especially the way Celtic are playing, Celtic are here for
here goes John Suter. He's just strode right through the heart of the Celtic midfield, but he's then bailed out by Celtic are bailed out, I should say, by not much movement in front of him.
And then Carter Vickers looks like he tackled Engels there, that they get Rangers the ball back.
Do you know, I look at Celtic and you're talking about substitutions, freshness, try to get Callum McGregor is probably having the worst football game he's had in a long time.
Cross into the box, well defended by Kieran Tierney. So a bright enough start by Rangers in the second half.
Well, yeah, it's the story of the first half repeated. Still, Balikwisha at one point there looked as if he was afraid to touch the ball.
Yeah, he did the old step over it to allow the teammate behind him. The problem is there was no teammate within about 40 yards of him.
It's one of those occasions he's running shouting man on, don't give me it. I feel for him, because this is, if anybody's playing it, obviously Marv, I don't think you've played in a game this size. I've got to say, it really is a pressure cooker you're in there. It's no doubt about it. You've got to be able to handle that.
Yeah, because you know what, it's not, I was going to say it's not like he's played badly. I know someone will disagree. It's just been really tentative, hasn't it? Like, just
negative, Gordon.
Nervous and negative.
He doesn't want to make the mistake. He doesn't want to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not that he's made loads of mistakes. He's just not allowed himself.
Yeah. Look, I can totally understand
as an attacking
it.
player, you can't be that way, can you? Because you're going to lose the ball at times. So you have to go at the man. He's not made James having to defend once. Not once.
Positive stuff from Jayden Magoma. To be fair, Nygren does quite well to stick with him. And it comes out to this side. That's poor as well. Gassama can't get there, out for a throw in.
It's not good quality. I'm sorry. I know the pressure of two teams, but I think when you've got players of this standard on the pitch, you should be able to control and pass the ball 10 yards, 15 yards.
I just look at that there, and the service I spoke about Maeda getting in the first half. He's got a ball there. He's got a defender right up beside him. It's coming to him at chest height. I mean, he just can't get involved at all. He is their main threat. And I know what you're saying, he might be out of sorts compared to last season, but he is the main danger for Celtic, and they just starved him of any sort of ball today.
This might be a problem. Has the referee bailed that out as well?
I think he's got away
we'll see
with
it
one.
back. Maybe Callum McGregor does kick the ankle, but on first viewing, it looked like he just took it off Asgard as he was going back towards. Oh dear, that's not a foul, is it?
No, not Asgard. No. He gets away with what? Does it?
Oh, it's really not a foul at all.
No.
And Celtic were going to break on that Rangers back four there. It's quite a big let off. There's been a few of those, Marvin. We don't listen. It's what we want in this fixture. We need the big decisions to sort of go right. We don't need the 3 months of fallout, but there's been a few kind of just those little niggly ones in the middle of the pitch that I think have probably gone the wrong way. Yeah, the referee's just got them wrong, hasn't he? And it's one of those situations as well. You probably think Celtic can get a shot at goal, so just play on. If you want to pull it back for that's the whole point in having VAR there. But he's made the early decision, and for me, he's not got that one correct. It was a poor decision, I've got to say. I applauded him for the penalty kick decision, but that one was poor. Tell you what, Ross McCormack's going to need to walk back his Giga criticism maybe if he keeps doing this, because he started ropey, but he's now come in and robbed Maeda, but I think 3 times he's come in and taken it off the back of him. He's done quite well. That's better. Yeah, Balikwisha he still wants to turn back. Yeah, he honestly just be direct there. Just try and get yourself your team a throw, get yourself up the pitch, make James having a defend, and he's done none of those 3. Mate, he jumps in his car and reverses all the way to training. And again, if he would be more positive, because Conor Barron's giving him it back and Rangers are making mistakes, there's going to be a foul time, I think. So Celtic can load the box. But I think Balikwisha, quick one from Celtic. It's poor though from Reo Hatate. It's the kind of quick thinking you associate with Celtic. First shot on goal. Tried to, it was a cross, wasn't it? I know, yeah, probably would go down as one. That's why the stats are only what you make of them. You wouldn't know who to take off for Celtic. It's alarming, I think. I think it's just one of these games, Hugh. See if the referee blew the whistle and now and said, right, I'll tell you what, point each, let's go home. Because you would go.
We'd be away by 3 o'clock.
If you're Celtic, you'd go into the international break 6 points ahead. That's a sizable gap after, was it 4 games?
Oh, here's a chance here. Carter Vickers.
There's not much opening up though. Carter Vickers has to come back to Hatate, who took a look at Balikwisha
and thought
I'll just come back in the way.
There's a chance, just deliver in for Celtic.
But who's going to be in the box for Celtic there really for that type of cross? You could just almost say, everybody's missing it. There's only like 3 people missed that ball, and it goes in the favour of Rangers through.
So it'd be a chance for Rangers breaking.
Yeah, I think good fortune rather than design. And he's done him. Tierney's left by Gassama, and he squares it across, and it's blocked. Liam Scales does really well.
I'll tell you what, I am a massive Tierney fan, but that's amateur. That's amateur defending from Tierney. He just gets he knows he's get absolute done there.
He was struggling. Even on the first instance, he didn't want to go towards the ball in the centre of the park. So then Gassam picks it up, and then he finds himself in trouble in a 1v1. But that's what you want to see from Celtic wings going there. That's what we're talking about. Gassam's brilliant there. He's direct. He goes down the line and he puts the ball into a dangerous area.
It's always going to be hard for Kieran Tierney, isn't it, to escape the accusations that wouldn't have happened before.
It wouldn't have.
He was always so physically capable. And by the way, we're talking at international level here, so let's not pretend that we were over exaggerating it. Very hard to get past 1v1.
Yeah, listen, that would not have happened. He's off it just now, Tierney. There's no doubt he's not lasting 90 minutes. I understand that they're just bedding him in and working away with him, but that sort of defending there was shocking for him.
Do you know what's really alarming, I think, overall, is Celtic are not making the most of when they get the ball, Marvin, and what that actually does is overshadow how often Rangers are giving it to them.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced Rangers are very good in possession either, but it almost like it's a bit more alarming for Celtic, or a bit more obvious, because they're the ones that are actually picking up in an area where they might be able to punish it, but they never do so far.
Yeah, it's normally with Celtic the first pass is forward, so like you're saying, the ball comes to them and they play the first ball forward, but they're playing it backwards, and then Rangers are getting into a good shape, and then it's becoming difficult for Celtic to break them down. So definitely something Brendan Rodgers would have spoke to him about at half time. Can that first ball be a positive ball? Can it go into one of our front players and then work from there?
Oh my goodness, that sums it up. It was too casual from Rio Hatate. It then comes back out, and Callum McGregor does well to keep it alive, gives it to Nygren, who hits a shot that has got, it's like a lottery ticket that is bouncing up. He's off balance, he's left footed, he's high. That is never ever troubling the goal, is it?
You're not getting that on target from there. It's just a poor decision. It's a frustrated man. That's the figure of someone who's frustrated that maybe they've not had as much as the balls they want, but he still has to make a better decision there.
Now that he gave in Kelvin Grove Park rather than Ibrox Park.
Hugh, see if you've not seen these two teams and you arrive here today for the first time.
What is the goalkeeper?
You're saying 2 bad teams.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. 2 really poor teams, and the standards shocking.
Listen, there's only one good possession-based team in the league these days. I think you'll find.
Listen,
have a goalie that's making life difficult for them, but that's by the by.
That's better for Tierney, driving there, getting the free kick.
Right, he does get the free kick. Why not play on?
Yeah,
because you've eliminated Gassama. Balikwisha, it's now a free kick 50 yards from goal out wide.
Yeah, you base it on the halfway line.
Easily
it's
pointless. Should have just tried to take the advantage on that occasion, because Celtic do well to turn it out and get it down the line, and Tierney does well.
He has a good first touch, and then Don's just blowing his whistle there rather than letting the game flow. No.
But I think Celtic almost gave him the chance to blow his whistle, because they all stood, they all just wanted the free kick.
Yeah,
but then they just goes back to Liam Scales in his own half.
And then look, it's back to Schmeichel, and then Rangers have got 11 men behind the ball again.
Yeah, you just wonder who's going to be the first manager to move. It's got surely Celtic. It's got to be Brendan Rodgers here.
Do you think though?
0-0, he's still happy. He would take a point, wouldn't he? Walk away, he'd still be 6 points clear, quite happy. But do
you think Russell Martin's actually got more options?
Yes.
In the sense, or at least he believes he does. I know the Rangers fans are not convinced about some of them, but Antman started games, he would come on. Cyril Dessers, you would be comfortable putting him on.
Yeah, Barami can come on and get you something, a bit of pace as well. Curtis has been good at times, and then you look at Celtic's bench, there's not a lot there, but I would be looking to bring someone like James Forrest onto the pitch. Experience, knows these games, he's direct, he gets at you, he can score you a goal, at least he gets you up the park. I just don't see what Celtic are doing just now.
Oh, Scales does extremely well. Let's get a touch on that. As again, Miovski's movement is absolutely brilliant. Suter's got time on the ball. He's got one thing in his mind. I want to get him behind the Celtic defence. He peels off the back of Scales. Ball over the top, but Scales does extremely well to flick that off. Liam Scales.
Yeah, first corner of the second half. We've had a few of these corner Barron out swingers. That's been the most common corner for either side. Bojan Miovski. In fact, there we go. Change. Wonder why that is.
Yeah, because Tavernier was a target at first. They were doing, we called a train, and James Tavernier was a part of it. But yeah, they've changed it.
I don't think Barron's deliveries were bad. They weren't great either. They weren't like right on the money, but they were okay. Anyway, James Tavernier takes, and they go deeper this time. So maybe the deeper ones are to be delivered by James Tavernier, and Barron goes for the kind of front post central ones. Balikwisha does really well here, actually, just to force Rangers back because he's up there on his own.
Another interesting stat: Celtic haven't had not one corner, which sums up the insipid nature of the team.
It's also, I think, like we said about Rangers tactics, Gordon, they're kind of what they're playing for a bit more today. It is a bit more direct. So when you put long throws in the box and when you put long balls in the box, that's when you get players backpedaling and forcing it out for a corner. Everything Celtic's done
is in front of Rangers.
They've tried. Celtic are trying to play the way they usually do, but it's just all breaking down.
Yeah, Rangers, their best bet at scoring a goal is from a set play. But see if I was Russell Martin now, I'd be demanding the ball goes out to the right wing, because I think Tierney, looking at him, is really struggling. He's blowing a little bit. You can see him there. I thought he gave away a free kick, but the referee
didn't give that one.
I thought it was a free kick. I would be at him all day long.
Yeah, Balikwisha goes,
brilliant defending. Absolutely brilliant defending. Listen, he got caught with the other night there, didn't he, last week?
Safety first.
Safety first, him and Butland.
I think Butland had it covered, but Giga decides to put it out for a throw in.
I think he does the right thing there. I think Butland's got to come off his line a lot quicker than he does, and like you said there, Gordon, from a defensive point of view, you're not making that mistake twice. That ball goes out for a throw and we'll defend from there.
Hitate's ball's just too high for everyone. It was a good opportunity for Celtic
still
down the side.
Play, where Alston's got it.
It's so little quality in those moments, though, because those moments haven't even come around very often. So when they do, you're expecting really much more. Celtic do still have it. Hitate's there. He's got a little bit of space. Kind of reminds you of his first. Remember the goal he scored, Hugh, in his first Old Firm game? It was a similar angle, but nowhere near the connection he got that night. And Jack Butland makes an easy save. That'll be first shot on target. A very tame one.
Hatate is just one of several players who this season has not reached the heights at all. He's again another shadow of the player he used to be, however long that should last.
I mean, Asgard is just,
he's just not expecting Maeda to do that.
How not? How can your analysis all week not have been Dalziel Maeda will close you down?
Yeah,
even when he's bad and he's out of form like he is at the moment, he'll close you down.
Yeah, he works so hard and he does extremely well there to then turn the ball over. Rangers in a positive position there. Maeda works extremely hard to get it back for Celtic.
Do you know what I couldn't believe there? Rangers had possession of the ball. I've touched on it on the right hand side with Tierney, right? Kasama runs in the pitch.
Yeah.
Instead of keeping his width, taking the ball and saying, I'm facing you 1-on-1 because I've beat you before easily, I'm going to keep going at you, I've got the beating of you. He runs in the pitch and takes himself out of the game.
But he probably wants that ball played through, doesn't he? If you think you got the beating of the fullback pace wise, you're thinking, right, if you put me in on goal, I'm definitely going to get there.
No, but he didn't even run out to get that ball played. He ran into the centre of the pitch instead of holding his width and facing against Tierney.
Both of these clubs should be absolutely delighted they're not in the Champions League. The embarrassment that would be contained within Champions League matches for both of them.
There's been a lot of fouls that, and by the way, but just both ways, that they probably just don't need to be given. Is that one, to be fair?
This is still a vast improvement on the referee I saw yesterday, but yeah, I agree. That's not.
Hold on, you could get in trouble here.
I heard your manager moaning about it as well.
Yeah, there was. For both teams, like you said.
What was the incident? You embarrassed yourself, ran out from the dugout trying to play the hard man routine.
When?
Can't remember what incident it was. Was it
yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Oh, was it?
It was Raga. You were out trying.
No, well,
was it the Finlayson and Stuart Finlay one?
Yeah. When he books our player, when he gets forearm smashed into the face, yeah, I was right in that as well.
Anyway, James Tavernier swings the ball in. It's headed clear, I think, by Kieran Tierney. Forrest and Shin are getting ready for Celtic.
Which means Maeda will go to the wide area. Yeah,
of course, wide left.
Oh, it's helped in. Miovski might be onto this, but he tries to nod it.
Don't know.
It's going to be a corner, but he tried to head it into the path of Mikey Moore. Not sure he was ever getting it there.
I think from his point of view, he probably thought it didn't have enough pace for him to eventually bring it down on his chest. I think it was tight. I think Tierney's doing extremely well to come on the cover as well. He's just trying to cushion it, isn't he? He just gets too much on the header.
Oh, Gordon, what do I know about striking? But can you let that drop onto his left foot and just try and help it on its way?
I would have tried to just. I wouldn't have been cushioning that header.
Oh, we know that.
I'd have been finding the back of the net, mate.
Right, first in swinger, and these can be the ones that cause real uncertainty because they go right on top. I'm not even counting the number of players in that 6-yard box. It's pretty much everyone. Oh, this will be carnage. James Tavernier, and he gets it right in there to the gloves of Kasper Schmeichel.
Right, when you bring in the goalkeeper, that can't happen. If you got, like you said, Gordon, there's so many players in there, but yeah, Kasper Schmeichel again does well from a goalkeeper's point of view, but Rangers is poor. You really got to block him in.
Chance for Celtic to break. It was actually a really good. That's a heavy challenge. Yeah,
I don't know what Moore's complaining about. It's a free kick.
I think he was just the wrong side, wasn't he? It was a really good.
They've had a wee niggle, Diamandi Niggles throughout this game. Yeah,
they have, going both ways, by the way. Both have been honest in their defensive duties with it as well, but them two have been arguing an awful lot. They've been warned.
Let's take a look. Yeah, it's
a free
foul.
kick.
Is it a booking though?
Listen.
Nah,
is it because of maybe where it is and it kind of holds Celtic up from their attack?
I
can see the point.
Stopping a promising attack, maybe Don would say.
Maybe. It was a good throw from Schmeichel and a good pick up from Nygren, was it?
Nygren, yeah.
It's the first time we've seen, in a long time certainly, we've seen Celtic take advantage of those spaces. So free kick. Celtic haven't had as many set piece opportunities as Rangers have either. So it'll be a kind of outswinger from Nygren. I know there's been accusations Rangers don't defend set pieces very well. Well, more than an accusation, but Celtic haven't put in any pressure on them yet today.
Yeah, as I say, not a corner kick the whole game long for Celtic.
It's a hard one, this. It's a very high line. Nygren just shapes it, waiting for a flag to go up. Barron can't clear. McGregor, maybe an offside overhead kick. Is it Kieran Tierney?
Yeah.
For an overhead kick in the box, saved by Jack Butland. Got about a one-on-one. Kasper Schmeichel's come, but luckily for him, Carter Vickers,
he is all over the place
does
today,
well
Schmeichel,
in front of him.
He's all over the place. His decision making is terrible.
Is that the old one that Ibrox is, maybe I'm letting him off the hook, but so loud that you can't hear each other?
No,
as a defender, you're not leaving that anyway.
No.
I think you got to head it. Schmeichel just finds himself again in no man's land.
Yeah, there you go. Engels, that was my first one.
Okay, first change of the day. Engels and Balikwisha. It's a double Belgian substitution for Celtic, being replaced by Yamada and James Forrest. So Shin Yamada will go up front, Benjamin Nygren will drop into midfield, and James Forrest will go out wide.
I thought he may have looked at that at half time for me, but he's obviously let it go to the usual 60-65 minutes and then decided to make that change. So you wonder what it'll give them. I think Forrest will get you up the pitch, no doubt. Maeda now he's got an opportunity to play against Tavernier, and we know sometimes how that goes, but it'll be interesting to see if they can get the ball to him.
Yeah, he needs better service than he got in the centre of the pitch. I spoke about it, in the first half, putting him out there and putting Yamada up front, and he said it would be lost. So Hugh, we'll see who's right in the remaining 25 minutes. Expects a hat-trick from him now, probably.
Wonder if you're both right, because Hugh, it's not like Celtic fans will be saying, oh yes, Shin is coming on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the other lot have had 65 minutes and it hasn't worked for them either, so you've got to make changes.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers had to tweak it in some way to see if he can get a more threatening performance out of them. But I just feel that, and through no fault of his own, Yamada, a project, an experiment, call it what you will, and he's not really.
Oh, I'm not sure about the pass from Rio Hatate again.
No.
Celtic won it back, or Rangers gave them it in a good area.
Was that a shot?
I don't think so.
I think it was a pass.
I don't know what it was. It certainly wasn't a shot, but it was barely a pass either.
There's
Rangers giving it away a lot, Gordon. They're quite fortunate that Celtic can't take advantage of it.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Celtic can't take advantage of it. It's sloppy play from Rangers. Brendan Rodgers has made his move. You wonder what Russell Martin's thinking. Surely Majowski is starting to tire.
He's quietened a lot, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's listen, a power of work he put in the first half, especially off the ball. He's tiring. I'm looking at Ashgar. To me, all he's done is jog round the park with Callum McGregor. That's it. I could go and do that.
In fairness to him, though, you've said that Callum McGregor's had his quietest game in terms of being on the ball, so maybe he's done his job in terms of, when Rangers don't have
he's
it.
not a man marker.
He's not got that close to him, though, has he?
But
is it not more of a Celtic failing than...
Yeah. Well, it's easy to say that, isn't it? If you've been tasked with a job as a midfielder to go and sit on Callum McGregor, as teams always do, by the way, because he makes them tick, and he's not managed to do that today in terms of Callum McGregor, you've got to give the player credit for that.
Yeah, I think you're right, Gordon. Now we can see why Hearts won that game yesterday.
Hopefully Davey's listening.
You like to change your opinion now, Hugh? It's not going to be 2-1, is it, mate?
Right, no,
there's no 3 goals in this game.
No, but I still think Rangers will win the game.
Well, let's wait and see. We've got about 25-ish left, probably a bit more than that, but we'll see. Celtic again, they had the chance there. It was Maeda down the left, so that's the position he's operating in now. Rio Hatate's up on his backside, and he's up and down and up and down and up and down. Is it Giga again?
Great defending from Giga. He's got to take control of that situation.
Nah, not that one. Not that one.
Goalkeeper.
Not that one.
I'm just warming me Roscoe. He's sitting shaking his head. What are you talking about, dear?
My goodness, this is... Hugh, what we're seeing, I think, now is quite a similar pattern emerging. Rangers are actually so slack, but Celtic are so bad at trying to take advantage of it, so it keeps doing that and kind of going round and round.
Yeah, if you want a general criticism, these are the 2 flagship clubs in Scotland.
Yeah.
The elimination from the Champions League was humiliation, and these are the 2 teams. The league will be won by one of these 2 teams, and they're both poor.
I'll cut them a bit of slack for now, just to be generous. The squad's still in a bit of limbo, and we don't know who's coming and who's going, and confidence wise they are both in a bad place. But my goodness, other than that, I'm probably being generous to them. Carter Vickers takes it off Miovski. I wonder if his race is done. Gordon, do you think we could see that soon?
Yeah, he's put so much into the game. He's really worked hard for a team. Look, Dessers is a man for me. If you're going to get a goal for Rangers, not from a set play, I think you've got to get Dessers on the pitch. He's your top goal scorer.
Is there
for 2 years?
Is there an Antman for?
I thought that
maybe.
Yeah,
just he's done well, but he's so young, Marvin. He's not a seasoned pro with all these intense 90 minutes under his belts of senior football.
Yeah,
you'd forgive him for thinking it was taking a toll.
Yeah, exactly. I would do that. Get Antman on, and I'll bring him onto the right hand side to give fresh legs against Tierney to pose a different problem for them. But yeah, listen, Russell Martin doesn't want to wait too late, and if Celtic still then try and react to that, I think he needs to freshen his team up now, because they are beginning to tire a little bit.
Now is the point at which Kieran Tierney normally comes off.
Mm-hmm.
So
you just wonder how long they're going to give him. They'll probably give him more time than this, as a free kick comes in.
Shin does well there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Draws the foul from Giga.
And listen, he's better than Maeda with his back to goal, as you said there. That with Maeda, he kept giving the ball away. Ooh.
Celtic tried to play quick, even Maeda won't catch that one. Oh, it's a corner.
Kick.
Yeah, it was a
gets
little
a
nick
touch
on the way through. Fair enough.
But his intentions, Gordon, straight away goes onto the left hand side, free kick's given, dead ball, and just runs in behind. And James Tavernier has to go back, and I think it's Jigga who gets the head on it. And they get a corner kick from it. That wasn't happening in the first 65 minutes or so.
Barami and Dessers are the 2 getting ready, so you might get your Asgard withdrawal.
Yeah,
I think Asgard and Miovski maybe.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it isn't.
Diomande? No.
No, could be.
Ashgard.
It's 1 or 2, but I would go Ashgard. I think he's
corner
offered
Celtic.
very
I think
well.
it's their first of the day.
It is
out swinger from the left. It actually kind of bounces in quite a dangerous area, but no one was really structured enough to go and attack it.
It's one you see from Celtic quite a lot in that front post area.
This might sum this game up. It is Antman, but he had Barami's shirt on.
Surely they're 2 different sizes.
Perfect. Yeah,
that's brilliant, isn't it?
That might just sum up where we are.
Barami's having a horrendous game.
That's not me.
Oh, it's so bad from Rangers. Conor Barron and Diomande both getting themselves in a pickle. Shin is in. Oh, it's a heavy touch.
I don't think he gets the touch.
No.
It's about the best opening Celtic have had. Maybe not saying much, but Rangers gifted possession. Forrest probably shown why he's on. He picks incisive passes.
Oof.
And
honestly, I've everybody tells me this lad's a brilliant player.
Who, Asgard?
Yeah, I've seen absolute nothing to back that up from him so far.
That was I don't want to overdo it, Martin, because we've not had clear goal scoring chances, but that's certainly a clear opportunity. Wow. And there's Marcelo Saraki on for Kieran Tierney. Not surprised to see Kieran Tierney go off. He often does, but Saraki's not played loads of football either, Hugh.
But there's no alternative.
I know, I thought it might be the old Liam Scales moves. And
what is the situation with Tierney Gordon? You know better than me. Why can he not last any more than 70 minutes of football?
Really trying to manage a guy that's had so many injury issues. I think it has to be that, doesn't it?
But you bring him back, you've done your homework, your medical.
Yeah, but I think
it's had a pre-season.
Build him into it, aren't they?
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem.
I think there's a reality that if Kieran Tierney isn't struggling from injury issues, Celtic don't sign players from Arsenal, really, do they? I know he wasn't starting games, but he's kind of established. And do you know what I mean? You probably got to accept your limitations a bit on it. And I know that sounds quite defeatist, but
so does that make Steve Clarke's job easier than when he's picking the Scotland team with a back four?
Well, he's not going to play both games, Kieran Tierney, is he?
No, he's not. But even the Denmark one, if he goes with a back four, he plays Robertson at left back. He doesn't play Tierney left centre back. You think so?
I think unlikely.
Yeah.
But you never start the first game though. You never know.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Look, I'm a Tierney fan. I think he's been a brilliant player, but he just, you bring him back, probably big wages as well.
Well kept in by Kasper Schmeichel.
Really well.
Unless he didn't. Yeah, he did. Going to just still bounce around. It was a deflected shot. Yeah, back to the shin one, Marvin. Because we've been so starved of anything, that goes down as a chance. But I do think it was. I think Celtic fans will be almost pining for prime Kyogo in those scenarios. Just so tidy, so clinical.
Yeah, the run was Kyogo-esque, wasn't it? It was a fantastic run from him. I just think the ball was probably too far in front of him rather than into his actual path, where he could take the touch with one foot and then get the shot off with the other. But yeah, listen, it was as close as Celtic came in terms of breaking Rangers down.
Granted, it's a low bar. Are Celtic looking a bit more likely now, Hugh? Would you allow them that?
Yeah, I would. A little bit. I think we'll reflect at the end of this game on what was a poor advert for our flagship competition, for our two flagship clubs. It is a game of dreadful quality.
An interesting last 15 minutes, Gordon. I think Barami now will come on. So,
but he's wearing Graham Souness's shirt.
So he's got his own shirt as well, Barami. Anyway, never mind.
Well, he will give you a bit of pace as well, a bit of direction.
Asgard's gone off. Has he done enough for you? I'm going to guess no.
No, I don't. I've not seen anything in him yet. Look, it's early and we're judging. We're going very quickly. I went in the first game with Max Aarons. I didn't fancy him at all, and I still don't. But I'm going to give him the benefit of doubt. But so far, I've heard so much about the boy, how good he is and how talented he is. I've seen nothing of him that strikes me that he's got to be a top player at Rangers.
The other side, I've maybe been waiting to see Marvin get fortunate enough to go and work up at the training ground and stuff, and he's big.
Yeah,
he looks like a proper athlete. So I'm almost kind of waiting for that side of it to come to the fore, but maybe not done that yet either.
Yeah, he doesn't look fully up to speed at this moment in time, does he? My friend's a Luton Town season ticket holder, and he speaks really, really highly of him. But I'm the same as you, Gordon, in terms of coming up in a Rangers shirt. Haven't seen a great deal from him, but they were gutted to lose him. I know they were relegated from the Championship, but yeah, as I said, it's early days in his Rangers career. He's never played under this much pressure when you're expected to win every single game, expected to perform in every single game, and it will take some getting used to for them.
So we enter a very tense period because Celtic, if it's a draw, will still get stick. There's no doubt about it, Hugh.
Yeah.
But Russell Martin faced banners calling for his head, and he would get into the break 6 points behind if it stays like this. So really tense end to this game for both.
Yeah, very much so. But Celtic, having made the change,
he's doing all right.
A difference.
Yeah. He's doing okay. Listen, he's backing in. He's winning the free kicks, gets Celtic up the park. But I'll be highly disappointed in Don Robertson if he plays any added on time.
Hold on, there's a chance for Celtic to pick it up, but Negrin curls it. It's not that close.
It's the wrong decision again, Gordon. It really, really is. And as I said, he was starved of it on the right, but he's come inside now. It's just a poor decision in the final third, and Brendan cuts a frustrated figure.
Had people in good areas there.
That's what I mean. Just keep the ball moving.
You get the impression even if Rangers won this game 1-0, Russell Martin would still get stick.
No, I think. Listen, the fans. Some didn't want him in the first place. Here, we spoke about the banners and stuff at half time, or the flag, or whatever it is. You win games of football, things begin to change very, very quickly, and that's something that we know in football, and especially obviously in Glasgow.
Is there a more boring, predictable outcome in any game of football between any team when a striker chases a defender into the corner, fouls him, free kick given? It's just happens all the time. Totally breaks up anybody's rhythm. James Forrest doing well to track back.
I'll tell you what, I would leave it up to Ross, Hugh,
oh dear me,
and obviously Shug to pick man of the match. I'd love to hear that one.
Yeah, it would have to be someone for their job off the ball. It couldn't possibly be any player.
Majowski for his running.
Even at that, it was early and it kind of quietened, didn't it?
I think the stand assistant referees had a very good run.
He's got most things right.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good running up and down that touchline. But you wonder if there's a sting in the tail here. The goal.
This is more of a Celtic-like move out from the back, and give them that much. They've worked it all the way to the edge of the box. But what's next? Nygren's decision making's been really poor all day. Forced things that he probably shouldn't have. Saraki swings a ball in. James Forrest brings it down. He just couldn't wriggle away.
He's trying to buy something.
Callum McGregor, he thought about shooting, but it's on his right foot. Maybe a chance for James Forrest, his first one to run, and it's going to be a corner kick to Celtic. He's given a goal kick, has he?
Yeah, it's one of them. I think it came back off Forrest. It ricocheted between them a couple of times, but again, at least he's being direct. He spoke about it in the first half, and Celtic getting in wide areas and not being direct. He's trying to make something happen at least.
Yeah, because that's just your luck, isn't it? That might be a corner, might be a goal kick, but take the chance.
Exactly.
Something that Balikwisha never managed to do.
100%. He came inside on so many occasions, and like we said, it's a massive first game to come into. He's signed for a huge football club, so nobody's judging him just based on today's performance, but it just seemed like it was a little bit too much too soon for him.
Just kicks the ball right out of the pitch. You wonder if Celtic will bring Luke McCown on just to give them that little bit of spark in the middle of the park. Maybe it's missing.
I think he's done with subs.
I
think he's.
How many has he played?
He would do one more. No,
he's got the room to do it. But I don't think he will do it.
I thought I'd missed something there when I was sleeping. It's not been a classic, is it? I wonder how many people will go back and watch us tonight.
But do you know what? I think the storylines are big enough that it doesn't alter loads of things. Like if you play out one of these towards the end of the season, it's dreadful. There's nothing riding on it.
Yeah,
everything's still riding on this. As we said, like a draw, Rangers fans be happy not to get beat, but it leaves Russell Martin 6 points behind and get into an international break. So I still think at least let's get the game done, and then we've still got a fallout to deal with.
I think there'll be a goal, Gordon. There you go. I don't know what end. I think someone will score.
Saraki's done okay since he came on. He's just at least he's tried to be positive, put cross in. He draws the foul from Gassam here. I don't know how much was in it. Did it look like a tired winger tracking back?
Yeah, I think that Don's got that one right.
He's not really been at it today, Gassam, has he?
Don had a new wee fade for this game, would we say?
Yeah,
I think that fade's a bit higher than normal.
Who the referee?
Yeah,
it's just big occasion, big TV audience, got to look sharp. Conor Barron's now down stretching. I mean, Joe Rothwell presumably, given that he's the one who,
and Finlay Curtis, who might be the goal scorer. He said there's one goal.
Yeah, he's been
in
having a good season, hasn't he?
He's got a real knack of it, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's
lively. He's lively. Gives him a bit of energy.
A few changes, I think, here. Did I see a third member moving around in the background there? Anyway, it is certainly going to be Joe Rothwell for Conor Barron, who looks like his race is done. Has he done okay, Marvin?
Yeah,
considering his first start of the season out of nowhere.
I think he's been good. I really, really do. What he's been brought in the team to do is in terms of get around and break play up and make it horrible for Celtic. When Rangers are out of possession, I think he's done that extremely well. And listen, at times he's given the ball away, but he's a young player coming to a huge game. Like you said, not played a lot of football, Gordon, but he can be happy with his afternoon's work for sure.
Almost forgot this was going to be a free kick to Celtic when it was it's all said and done. There's been so much happening.
Yeah, it is. Gassam didn't offer a lot today. I was a bit disappointed in the second half. I think that one time he just took Tierney on, went by him with ease. I think that when you're a winger, you're now demanding the ball to say, just give it to me, I'll keep going at him and testing him. But
surely your teammates force you to do that, Gordon. If you've got the beating of your man, surely we just keep feeding
you the ball.
Yeah.
Anyway, free kick to Celtic. Curtis is on as we mentioned, so is Rothwell. Negrin's delivery, it's not a bad one actually. It causes a bit of uncertainty, but I think Carter Vickers tries to jump over the top and tumbles and nothing really doing. Saraki at least looks confident.
He looks, you're right, Gordon, confident. He looks like he's got a nice left foot there.
It's a sorry state we're praising players for their confidence now, but so many today haven't looked confident, so that's why it's relevant.
It's like a karaoke night with no singers. That's the way I'd describe this game.
And James Forrest again. It's been such a nearly performance for Celtic at times in the last 15 minutes where he does really well, comes in, he's got to do better with the pass.
You know, people always talk about the first touch, but the last touch for Celtic from the players today in that final third has just not been quite there. You know, overhitting passes, playing at the wrong side of people.
I think you as well, if we're talking about two teams coming in versions of a crisis mode and confidence being low, once you get to this stage you would forgive them for being terrified of a mistake that's going to cost their team here.
Absolutely. And I think Finlay Curtis, you know, on known form this season, is the guy to take advantage.
Yeah, corner to Rangers. They've not attacked as much in the last portion of this game, but Barami danced his way to the byline, so his cross cut out by Cameron Carter-Vickers. So strap yourselves in, because I know it's not been great, but one thing you can never take out of this game, or rarely take out, is the tension, and that is going to go through the roof here in the last 10 minutes.
Are we getting a goal, Hugh?
I think so.
Marv, do you think so?
Yep. I think we'll get a goal. Don't know which end, but I think we're going to get a goal here.
Well, we did say it looks like Rangers set piece would give them the best chance, and it's going to try and go right on top of Schmeichel again. It was too easy for him the last time, he just caught it. This is better, but you have to say well defended Liam Scales, because there's no margin for error there really.
Brilliant from Liam Scales, absolutely brilliant, because it's a wicked ball put in.
I'll tell you what, Shin is
can move.
Have you not heard this? Shin's meant to be faster than Maeda.
Is he?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, he was shifting there.
Yeah.
Nah, this is making of two bagels. No.
Maeda almost closes down Butland. Is the keeper alleging that he was caught? Don't know. I think he is.
Yeah.
Was it Shinnicott?
No,
Maeda.
Jack Butland down, head in his hands. We'll just see it. You know, you don't get much time.
Nothing in that. He kicks Maeda.
Yeah, it's not even Maeda's leading leg.
No, it's a trailing
one.
Nothing in that at all.
It's a rest.
Yeah, I think Don's given a throw on, hasn't he? He's not even given him a foul.
I think the cameras are being ambitious, zooming in on Liam Kelly. I know they're just highlighting that he's the replacement. I don't think I think Jack Butland will be fine, Hugh. I don't think that was a game-ending contact.
But I think you were absolutely correct a couple of minutes ago when you said that you'd be devastated now to make a mistake and lose a goal, no matter who it is, Celtic or Rangers.
Because again, look, we will no doubt do the dance after and people will claim their own, but we've seen enough over 85 minutes to say I don't think any team really deserves to win it, do they?
No. That's a clear foul.
It's silly, and now you don't even have another ball coming into your box. I mean, it's running out for a throw on.
Maybe that's the rust as alluded to from Saraki, because my goodness, Curtis he's going nowhere. He's running towards the byline, the sideline.
That must frustrate the life out of a coach or a manager.
Especially it looks like it's going to be lost on the set play today if anyone's going to score.
Exactly.
I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about that. So even if it's a neutral game I'm watching like this, or even a game from a different league, and I see that, it just annoys the life.
There's no need to do it
at any level. Why
Absolutely
are
no
you
need.
doing that? So ridiculous. And as you say, it gives Celtic something to defend, because James Tavernier's ball's in the money.
And now it's a corner.
Yeah, I think it might be Rio Tati who heads it away for a corner kick. Luke McCowan is getting ready to come on. But you wouldn't imagine they'll do it before this.
No.
We need Ramon it off.
Is there to be a late sting in the tail? We've said all day there's nothing being created, but Rangers set pieces, there have been enough of them to maybe think that could be the avenue by which we get an opener. Here goes Tavernier again. Callum McGregor clears at the front post, but Tavernier will get a second bite at it, and that's a good ball. Maeda's there this time. You can see Desser's thinking about a shot, but or was it Barami? Sorry,
Barami, yeah.
It was woeful, whoever it was.
I think he's tried to disguise the shot as a through ball, and he's done neither. He's played it straight to Celtic.
Disguised himself though.
Yeah, he's thrown everybody and the ball.
Anyway, into the 87th minute. Is it going to open up, or are both teams going to settle for what they've got? They've made attacking changes. Finlay Curtis is now trying to go down the right.
Yeah, at least the young lad's been positive. I like that.
Yeah, he goes into the box, but my goodness, always dies in Maeda there. Curtis goes down. Yeah, I think that'll be okay in the end up. Maybe that one not so much.
That won't be.
Yeah, I think Giga's going to be the next in the book. He did well for a period because he would come and defend Maeda through the back. He's found Shin much harder to deal with.
Shin's so much stronger with his back to goal. So what he's doing, he's using Giga's almost weight and he's rolling him, and then he's having to bring him down because, like you see, he's over eager there, goes straight into the back of him. He's actually tackling him from the wrong side.
Yeah,
You've got no chance of winning. No chance of winning the ball there.
Anything in Maeda on Curtis?
No, nothing at all.
Will we just stir up a controversy
Yeah,
over
do
it?
something.
What do you think? Was that a penalty? Give us a call. We might well be at that stage. Nasser Giga, the latest to get into the book. There have been a few. It's not been a particularly high-tempered affair, but just a few silly challenges that weren't required. Well, look, McCowan Hugh has the chance to turn his bad week into a good one. He's a big Celtic fan. He was in tears. He was devastated at missing one of the penalties that put them out. He's now got a few minutes to try and grab what would be a famous winner as he replaces Reo Hatate.
Well, you go back to the first day of the season against St Mirren. Celtic had tried everything, brought on McCowan. 87 minutes, McCowan scores with a deflection, but at least he's looking to get a shot in on goal, and that is what Brendan Rodgers is asking for now.
There's only one positive in this the game getting finished here, is the fact that Celtic once again don't concede a goal.
Well,
and I think Brendan Rodgers will highlight that.
If it stays this way.
If it stays this way, that's correct.
No, you're right. And if we're being honest, not looked like overly likely to either. We said, the Suter set piece and all the rest of it. But we'll wait and see what the next few minutes has in store.
Yeah, maybe
never
drama.
Never give up on the drama stakes. Scottish football is a madhouse. We know that much. As Maeda slips but manages to get back up and try and keep it alive, but everything's just been so slack in possession. Honestly, it swings back and forward about 5 times. Liam Scales needs to be cautious of Dessers coming across, but he is.
Yeah.
Now, how much?
That was close.
Schmeichel took a chance.
That was close.
How much time does the referee add on?
None, hopefully.
Stop it.
Oh, come on. We can't
take
any more.
5-minute.
You don't think we could get a goal here?
No. I think they two could play till the dark comes down.
I'm not suggesting the quality's high enough to get one, but I think the mistakes could be.
Well,
the tension.
Maybe a wee bit tiredness.
I don't think it's impossible.
I think maybe if a set play.
Maybe not like that. My goodness. Barami threads a through ball to Finlay Curtis, who is not running anywhere, so that's never going to work. Goal kick Celtic.
Yeah, Curtis wants it to feet, doesn't he? And Barami's almost delaying it for him to make the run. But when he doesn't make the run, just play it to his feet.
But it's part of a wider point, though. We maybe understand Barami. Is that not Rangers' problem for a few years now? Everything's to feet.
Yeah.
You never get players running.
Yeah.
I was going to say like Celtic do. Not anymore, apparently.
Yeah,
not
they
today.
haven't today.
But,
yeah,
you know what I mean. Generally,
100%. People running off the ball, making those forward runs, penetrative runs, and you can play the ball into their path. They've missed it, haven't they, for a while?
Well, you would say Shin's had a positive impact. He's not necessarily had too many chances, but he's put himself about.
Feeding off scraps as well, isn't he? He's, like you said, he's got Celtic up the park.
Here it is here.
Yeah, again, though, doesn't feel like there's that many bodies in positive areas for Celtic. Rangers
3 minutes added on.
That'll do us, Leave enough time for drama, but let's not overcook it.
Yeah.
Nice compromise. Shake hands, move on.
I'll be happy with that.
James Forrest, he tends to. Was it Luke McCowan? Sorry, actually applies to them both. They do look after it quite well. I don't really know why Anthony Ralston has done that down the line.
Don't know where he was going the wrong way.
Both teams just really surrendering possession quite freely. And it's back with Carter Vickers. This is where you find out how much you want to press late on. Kasper Schmeichel takes no chances. Actually hits a pretty good pass, but it's always going to be hard for Maeda to control that. Shin thinks about pressing the goalie, then doesn't. It's petering out a bit, but you never know. There might just be a bit of a frantic madness to the end.
We've been hoping for that since 12 o'clock gone.
Yeah, but it can't stay frantic throughout the game.
It's never been frantic.
But no, it started it.
Do you think so?
Yeah, it did, and it can end it. You never know.
Well,
Finlay
Rangers
Curtis, is he
probably.
going to be positive? You know, he's got what a goal scoring record he's got at youth team
Yeah,
level.
he could be the man that unlocks the defence.
Of course, it's a different challenge, but just having that mindset. Oh my
terrible.
goodness, Celtic.
He's actually had a good game
Take
as well.
possession. Magoma?
Yeah,
Think so?
I think he's been solid enough, but he just seems to play that ball with the wrong foot. Just
Oh dear me.
Oh, Callum McGregor's been caught desperately, so badly
Great
that it looked
recovery.
like there was a.
I thought the referee must have blown his
It's almost
whistle.
as if there was a stoppage in play. If this comes to anything, it's all on the Celtic captain. It's cleared for now. My goodness.
That's what I said about McGregor. He just looks a bit tired for me. You don't usually.
That's a tired mind, that though, not a tired body.
You don't associate him with that sort of thing. He's usually right on the ball. He gets the passes going quickly, but he's not really dominated this game this afternoon at all.
Listen, they're struggling to dominate, and then there's that. You can't expect that time and space in this fixture.
Yeah, I mean, it's so unlike him. So unlike him, but like you say, he just sits on the ball at the edge of his own box, not realise that Dest is coming behind him and he robs him of the ball, but then McGregor recovers really well.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it. It's Rangers in possession, so they would be the only team you think have got the chance, unless Celtic can nick it. About 30 seconds of the 3 minutes remaining. It is played forward. Even a second ball, McGregor hooks it over his shoulder, but Tavernier has it, so this will be it. This will be the last opportunity into Dessers. He can't deal with it, and it's headed back to Schmeichel.
That's us, isn't it?
Celtic don't even look like they want to go up the other end.
They'll take it. They'll take that.
Yeah, away from home, they're top of the league already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
undefeated, not conceded,
clean sheet. But
what about the old 6-second rule that's been brought in? I was waiting on that. Don Robertson will have been telling
Don's
Kasper
had
Schmeichel
enough.
he's
Yeah,
had enough
done.
full time. Ross McCormack, Andrew Maclean.
Rangers 0, Celtic 0, the full-time score. It certainly won't go down as an Old Firm classic, but that maybe just sums up where these two teams are at the moment. There was a smattering of boos, I would say, from the home support when that full-time whistle went, but that's probably because they didn't manage to muster even one shot on target throughout the full 90 minutes. There wasn't, as I say, a shot on target from either team in the whole of the first 45 minutes. Rangers did think they'd taken the lead though through John Souttar. He rose high, headed James Tavernier's deep free kick past Kasper Schmeichel. The celebrations were in full flow in the stands, but they were halted by a VAR check. Souttar offside. The goal ruled out. The second half continued in the same vein, just not a lot of action around either goal. Both teams struggling to create. Neither goalkeeper really tested. Celtic ended the game with 2 shots on target. Rio Hatate with a really tame one from the edge of the box. Then, not long after, Kieran Tierney attempted an overhead kick that went straight at Jack Butland. As I mentioned, Rangers not managing to test Kasper Schmeichel at all, and now the Celtic players just making their way over to the supporters. They're applauding, and the Rangers players will do the same. James Tavernier just calling them over to go round the pitch and applaud the supporters, those who are still left in the stadium at the moment. The full-time score, Rangers 0, Celtic 0, and as I said, Ross, not a classic, not too much you can really take away from that one.
Not a classic at all, Andrew. Not too much quality on show here today. Not a fantastic advert for Scottish football, unfortunately. Loads of grit, loads of aggression, loads of chaos, but just not much quality. I think in the end, you could see as the game was petering out, Brendan Rodgers would probably be the happier manager to take the point. I think Russell Martin probably needed the victory today, but listen, clean sheet for Rangers. They can take a positive from that, but they've got to be better moving forward.
Just looking at it, do you think a point for each team isn't a disaster for either side going into the international break?
No, it's not a disaster when you think about the consequences of what could have happened if you take Rangers especially, if they lost. So it's not a disaster. It could be something to build on for Russell Martin, and that's important because although there was a small minority booing there toward at the end, full-time whistle there, if they had lost the game today, it would have been disastrous consequences for Russell Martin. So it could be something to build on. Celtic, I think, will be a little more. I think they'll be disappointed with their showing today. I didn't think they looked particularly threatening. At times, even interested in going forward. Balikwisha, he will get better. You don't want to write him off after one performance, but he's turning back a lot of negative football from Celtic today, but they'll take the point and move on.
Yeah, Celtic have now headed down the tunnel. Rangers have just about finished their lap where they've applauded the supporters, and they've been getting plenty of applause back as well. Russell Martin just standing at the edge of his technical area waiting for the players to come over to him. It will be high fives from him to the players, but no 3 points for Rangers, who still wait for their first victory of this league season. 4 games, 4 draws. Celtic is the first game they've not won out of the 4 league games, and they've kept a clean sheet for the 4th game running. The points are shared at Ibrox. The full-time score, Rangers 0, Celtic 0.
Well, what did you make of that? We said in the build-up it was one of the most interesting build-ups. Certainly it wasn't one of the most interesting games, so where does that leave things then? Certainly in terms of the league table, it leaves Celtic 6 points ahead of Rangers going into the international break. So how do you both feel about that? How would you pour over the game today? Was there much to take away from it either way? It was mistake ridden. I don't think there were too many standout performers. Give us all a laugh. Come and pick your man of the match if you want. But where does that leave things? Because James Tavernier, the Rangers captain's had a lot of stick. The other players have had a lot of stick. You look at Russell Martin, none more so than him, a banner telling him to be gone. Andrew Maclean, anything else to note before we leave you? I could hear some boos.
Yeah, so that was directed at Russell Martin. So he gave his players high fives as they passed him. They went down the tunnel, and he was the last man of the Rangers players or staff to go down the tunnel. And as he turned to make his way down, it wasn't loads and loads of boos, but there certainly were enough boos that you could hear it directed towards Russell Martin. So that game certainly hasn't changed the temperature from Rangers supporters towards him. So booed on his way down the tunnel.
What do you make of that, Rangers fans? Is that the way you feel, or is that a bit harsh after getting the point? You tell us. We're here for another 2 hours because we thought there'll be a game full of talking points that we'll need to go over. Maybe not quite the case, but I'm sure you'll find something for us. 0141 951 1025. We're going to be streaming this live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, etc. as well. So give us a call and we'll speak to you next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard with Call Robert Accident Repair. They'll collect, repair and deliver your car. Outstanding service.
This season, I want to feel it from the start. From the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds. Want to take an early lead. Want to see why he costs so much money. Want to shout pen before the ref is even called in. Want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet. Want to see them leave early. Want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future. Want to hear them agree. And if not, I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Number 1 for football. 7 days a week. Rangers v Celtic. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Yes, welcome back to Clyde 1 Super Scoreboard as we begin the reflections on what was a very low-key day at Ibrox. Loads going on off the field, loads of stories surrounding the game, loads of narrative. Russell Martin, the Rangers start to the season, the calls for him to be sacked. Brendan Rodgers not in a brilliant place either. Sack the board chants from the Celtic fans. They're out the Champions League. It was interesting enough, the team lineups even more so. And then the game happened. Very little took place. So what did you make of it? 0141 951 1025. Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Marvin Bartley in the studio. You can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Ross McCormack still at Ibrox as well. Take it away, Hugh.
I think it's the repercussions of the result rather than repeating over and over that it was a terrible game. Russell Martin, as Andrew Maclean pointed out, 4 league games, 4 draws. Goes down the tunnel to booing a banner during the game saying that he must go, and implicating the chief executive Patrick Stewart and the whole business by saying if he doesn't fix it he can go as well. So today was not a good one for Russell Martin because it was the 4th draw, because Rangers had home advantage, playing against a Celtic team who, by comparison to recent Celtic teams, the last 2-3 seasons since Brendan Rodgers came back for his second spell, there was no comparison. They are very much in decline and they need better players than they have at the moment. So for Russell Martin, 6 points adrift of Celtic. The crowd will fester on that for the next 2 weeks of the international break, and then he has that double header, Hearts in the league, Hibs in the Premier Sports Cup. For Russell Martin, the pain goes on. For Brendan Rodgers, we'll see what tomorrow brings for him. The repercussions for Celtic, will they get a striker in tomorrow, the final day of the transfer window? There must be work still to be done, and the supporters are scrutinising the situation very, very carefully.
Very hard to sum up. I think everyone will agree it was not a classic. I look at both teams. If you're Celtic, I think you're probably walking out Ibrox a happier. Clean sheet once again, that's a positive for Brendan Rodgers. 6 points clear going into international break, a few points out there. If you're Rangers, another draw. It looked a little bit better today, a bit as I thought. Majowski worked very hard until he was replaced, but in terms of quality in the pitch, none at all for me. But it's interesting to see over the next coming days who's got to come into the building, who's got to leave.
Anyway, we've got a proper derby underway now as well. Dundee against Dundee United. It could not possibly be worse, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll take you through everything to discuss from that one. These do tend to be quite high on entertainment. Hopefully that is the case, but we're here until 4 o'clock. Let's get stuck in. There's always something to discuss. Mark is waiting, but I think Jamie just pipped him to the post. Let's bring Jamie onto the line. Jamie, what's your point?
How's it going, Gordon? All right?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Aye, not bad.
What did you make of it?
After watching the day's game, right, I'll be honest, Rangers kind of dominated the play and broke up everything. Brilliant. We never had the last week the colour goal, but I can actually see more problems with Celtic. I don't know why that is when they've had the run of the play for a long time. And I know what you're saying, I'm talking about them, but I'm watching, if you're trying to build a team, you're getting scrutinised for obviously starting a team. Russell Martin's been getting dogs abuse basically for all the fans, everything for trying to build a team. Now, what I see in the day is he actually changed his tactics to suit actually the game which you would be calling for, right? So, but see with Celtic, I'm being serious. They look as if they'll be in up. They maybe transfer window doesn't shut to the night, but I would say Rangers will still claw this back, see what we're building, because I know there's obviously a couple in the pipeline now. I think it's still clawable.
Do you think ultimately that this was a better day for Rangers than it was for Celtic?
Yeah, I would say that even though it was the brilliant, but I would say we dominated and without really creating much.
See, on that, by what measurement then do you think you dominated? Because I think Celtic had more. By the way, none of this is designed to say that Celtic were good, so please don't take it that way. But Celtic had 60% possession and Rangers didn't have a shot on target. So what do you mean dominated?
Well, see their possession. It was in the last quarter of their pitch.
No, listen again, and that's what I said. But that's what I said, Jamie. That was not offered as proof that Celtic were good, but it was offered as how could you say Rangers dominated that game?
No, what I'm saying is, see, we had actually a dominant game. We won every second ball, the majority. And I'm being serious. That's probably the best I've seen actually Rangers playing. I know it all came to really nothing because we never won the 3 points, but on that, I thought we actually played okay for defensive wise.
I can actually understand what Jamie's direction of thought here. That after 13 of the last 14 titles going to Celtic, he's looking at a sign of that coming to an end, perhaps. I'm not saying it will, but I do believe that Celtic have gone backwards in an alarming way. The quality has gone out of the side. Kuhn has gone, Kyogo's gone, Jota, sadly for him, long-term injury. The players in the middle of the park, Callum McGregor for me toiling. Engels continues to be Engels the enigma. Rio Hatate for me has gone backwards. And I think Brendan Rodgers knows all of this.
With all that being said, though, Hugh, Celtic sit on 10 points and not concede the goal domestically. So if you're going backwards and you're regressing and these players are all going in the wrong direction and you've not conceded a goal and you sit with 10 points after 4 games, it's hard to put the two together.
And I don't see Rangers coming forward if you're going to put it in that perspective. I thought it was just a bad game. Look, Rangers have brought in all these new players. They are looking to build for the future. I think some of them are still well short, I've got to say. And Celtic, the transfer window has been a disaster for them.
And I think, to be fair, Jamie's right when he speaks about Russell Martin changing tactics. And this could have been a much worse day for him. Can you imagine the lines if they lost? There are already calls for his head, all that sort of stuff. So Rangers, they looked up for it. They looked more up for it. They dug in. They did what they had to do in their individual battles. Jamie's talking about winning second balls. Be interesting to see how much of a platform this is, because the good stuff Rangers did today, stop me if I'm wrong, it wasn't anything to do with what Russell Martin's trying to get across in the previous games. Does that make sense?
He had to do what he did today.
No, I know that, but do you see what I mean? That it's almost like this game had to just live separately and then get back to what he's trying to build.
Yeah, I think when the international break ends, Majowski will be 2 weeks fitter, and I think Majowski is going to be a player for Rangers. But as I say, the repercussions are important. They still won't get off Russell Martin's back. The banners, the booing at Russell Martin at time up. He still has an awful lot to do in terms of winning over the Rangers fans. But from the other perspective, the Celtic perspective, I really do think, and I know it's Marvin, it's only 4 games into the season, but I think there is a glaring lack of quality there, and it was highlighted over 3 hours and 30 minutes against Karat Almaty. There a glaring declining in quality.
But that's fine though, but that's if you're taking it in isolation. Jamie's point is taking the 2 today and presenting this as some sort of positive day for Rangers over Celtic. That's the core of the argument.
Well, I can imagine that Rangers fans are trying to cling to any passing lifeboat, but Jamie's core point is that he can see Celtic going backwards and Rangers have a chance of clawing back the 6-point deficit and therefore a chance of winning the league.
Yeah, I just wonder in that confidence there, clawing back the 6 point. If we're talking about, you're saying there, Hugh, about Celtic, how they were poor today in the sense of Midley Park, wide areas and whatever, then you've got to look at a Rangers team that's got to take advantage of that. But under no circumstances did I think Rangers were going to win that game today. It was going to be a free kick or a set play that was going to get the goal, or maybe a mistake. It was just a poor game. And I think Marv's right in the fact that you're 10 points, you're 6 points ahead of Rangers, and you've not lost a goal. Yes, they need players, no doubt about it. I thought the quality for both sides. But I don't look at Rangers and think to myself, oh, that's the best they've played today. They're starting to kick on. I just thought that two teams were...
I told you,
standard was poor.
No such problems in the Dundee derby. 13 minutes, that's all we had to wait for a goal. Zach Sapsford, one of the summer recruits for Dundee United, has nicked in, put one in at the near post. I'm not sure John McCracken will be too impressed with it. The Dundee goalkeeper, he felt he was a bit unsighted, but Dundee United have walked up the hill and taken the lead. Ross McCormack's at the stadium. Ross, Jamie's talking about Russell Martin maybe changing his tactics and stuff today. Is that fair? Was this different from what we've seen from Rangers so far?
It was, yes. I think this could be a small sort of sign of Russell Martin learning from his mistakes at Southampton. Under no circumstances when he was down there did he change anything whatsoever. The fact that he's done this today, it shows that the crowd are getting to them and he's listening to them, because there's no way he would have done this last season. And listen, I think it's for the better, Gordon. I think I can understand Jamie's point when he's talking about being dominant and stuff. I don't see that part, but I can see certain things that he's trying to do from being here and watching him on the sideline. How he's trying to put things across to his team. I can see what direction he's sort of trying to go in. But the big point that I can see is, and I agree with Jamie, is the fact that Celtic have gone backwards. They've gone backwards at an alarming rate. If they do not get a striker through that door before that deadline, I mean, some of the Europa League, they've got to go to Bologna, they've got Roma at home, they've got to go to Midtjylland, they've got to go to Feyenoord. Them teams will be licking their lips, Gordon.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a good performance from either. I think we're all quite clear on that. But like I say, Gordon, it'll be interesting to see what this looks like going forward, because today, right now, I get where Ross is coming from. Well done, Russell Martin. You've shown you can adapt. You've shown that you're not going to be so hell-bent on playing the way you had previously. But what does that mean then? You know, you've been so consistent that this is the way that it needs to be. Everything you've done in pre-season, every player you've recruited, all your messaging has been gauged towards that. So on one hand you can praise him for being adaptable, but what does that look like now? What does he do now? What direction does he go?
Well, I don't think I totally understand what they're saying. He played a lot of longer ball, especially first half, tried to get Majowski in. It happened, he got in once in the penalty claim, which there was a correct decision, wasn't a penalty. But he's not going to go down that road when, no disrespect, Kilmarnock come calling at Ibrox or teams like Dundee or whatever it may be, because the fans would they'd be not too happy with style of play. I thought today definitely tried to turn Celtic. It is Celtic. They've not lost a goal. They're the champions. So you've got to adapt to the team you're playing against. I think he'll work in the 2-week break. He'll get players in. He'll probably get players out. And then he'll get back to trying to do this possession-based football that he likes.
There's got to be an umbrella to that possession base, there hasn't there? I think today he offered something different with the ball going in behind, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, he spoke about it so many times that, you know, Rangers struggle to break teams down, and they have struggled, you know, previously as well, because they played too many passes in front of teams.
So that's my point, though, is the ball going in behind against St Mirren or
no? I don't think it
depends. It depends how quickly you turn the ball over, because at some point these teams have to attack.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to try and get them out of structure. What happens now is Rangers are pinning teams in, but they don't have that final third bit. But if St Mirren or someone comes to your place and they're attacking, of course there's going to be space in behind. But we spoke about it in the other studio. There's not been enough runners in behind from Rangers players to take advantage of that.
Let's get the Celtic angle from Mark on the other line. Mark.
Good afternoon, guys. How are you all?
Good, Mark. Good. What did you make of it?
Well, just if I've got 2 quick wee points, if that's right.
Yeah.
First of all, I was going to come on and air my points first, but I've just listened to the last 5 minutes. The guy, Jamie, came on and spoke about his team. He's not in the ascendancy and they're going to get better. He spent £25 million and he didn't have a shot at Celtic's goal in the second half. For all the good players that they've brought in, and Hugh says that Celtic are weak, and they are very weak. They haven't got any strength, they haven't brought anything up front. They've actually lost a striker when they should have really been on the bench today. And they haven't brought anybody in. But for that bad a side that we were, Rangers' best player in the whole park today was a right back. The guy that's been there for 6-7 years, he was a standout for them, in my opinion. The only reason they never had the success in the second half was because Maeda moved over to the left and Tavernier never got any joy down the right-hand side. But nobody, and well, Marvin in the panel and maybe Gordon, but your man at the game and you has absolutely dismantled Celtic there in the last 2-3 minutes. I've been listening to this thing. Celtic got the draw there. Rangers have spent nearly £13 million and they're spending more, and they still couldn't mark a glove or put a shot on a Celtic team that's so weak, with Tony Ralston playing it right back and a half-fit Kieran Tierney, with guys that's been in for 24 hours, never played in the country before, and men playing up front who, let's be honest, guys that play in the wide like Nigel, who's never a winger, and they still got a draw out it. We're 6 in front. We've not conceded a goal this season. We've not lost a game. We got knocked out in Europe because we were very, very poor. And yes, the board have let the Celtic fans and the manager down, absolutely. But they've got 24 hours to turn that round. Now, if I'm a Rangers fan, I'd be worried at that, because if Celtic go and spend the money in the set tomorrow, or they get the players in tomorrow, and they can't mark a team that's this poor at the minute, how are they going to go on in a couple of weeks' time? I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like in the panel in a couple of weeks' time, because they've just half your guys have just absolutely dismantled Celtic, and Rangers should have been the ones that won because they're at Ibrox at home.
But Mark, you've said yourself, I mean, the argument can't descend into we were less poor than you. You said yourself that it's very obvious that Celtic are in need of players, and that there are Europa League matches that offer very difficult tasks for Celtic, and they do need more quality in. The manager makes that clear every time he speaks. So it's not about we were less poor than you, it's about what's round the corner. And I've said of Rangers, the doubleheader with Hearts and Hibs, League and Cup, is a real trial for Russell Martin and his players. But you know, Celtic have just over 24 hours to get people in, and they really must do so, because at the moment, starting from the Scottish Cup final against Aberdeen last May, Celtic are in clear need of refurbishment.
Okay, do you know what we'll do? We'll actually pause there, because there was a lot of ground covered, and we're going to come back with plenty more. I think Mark makes some good points, Hugh responding with some good ones. We can do it all over again after these.
This season, I want to see us have a real shot. Want to see us at full strength. Want a bench that gives us options. Want to get some momentum. Want to do it on a cold, wet night in November. Want to be top at Christmas. Want to beat them on Boxing Day. Want to go ahead in January. Want to put the league table on the group. Want to hear them say, can they do it this year? Want to listen to their doubters. Want to prove them all wrong. Look them in the eye and say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge 544 pounds. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly.
Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans.
Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verified best network at ee.co.uk/claims.
I'm Professor Noel Fitzpatrick, and as a vet, I know you want the best care for your animal companion. Pet insurance can help, but you need to choose wisely, as not all policies are the same. Pet Plan aim to pay claims quickly and without a fuss, and that's one reason why so many vets work with them.
Get your pet the best veterinary care. Save 10% on new policies when you insure at petplan.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Fits all media as an appointed representative of Pet Plan Limited.
Taking your calls on the Old Firm Open Line. 0141 951 1025. Rangers v Celtic. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
I was going to say the dust is beginning to settle on the first Old Firm game. That's what they say. I don't know if there was much dust kicked up, to be honest. It was a goalless draw, very few goalmouth incidents, but still there's enough storylines doing the rounds. What did you make of it? Ross McCormack's at Ibrox. We've got the top team in the studio as well, Hugh, Marvin and Gordon. Good Dundee derby. Dundee United are 1-up at Dens. Zach Sapsford with the goal 25 minutes into that one. We've got 2 3 o'clock games kicking off as well, so plenty to get through. Let's bring in Billy, who was there. Hi, Billy.
Hi, Gordon. How you doing? Thanks
Hi,
for
Billy.
taking my call.
What have you got for us after that today, then?
Oh, the producer says I'm not allowed to use certain words.
Thank you.
Hugh, I would like to speak to Hugh Keevins.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Hugh Keevins.
I'm here.
You got to respect your elders.
Thank you.
Is that not one of the worst Old Firm games you've ever seen?
I'll give you my straightforward answer. I watched my first Old Firm game 65 years ago, and that was the worst I've ever seen. But having said that, we have to move on and find out where both of them go from here. It was desperately low in quality a poor advert for the Premiership. It's a sign of two major clubs being at a very low ebb. I'll be very interested when Hearts go to Ibrox, because Tony Bloom, Derek McInnes, they've spoken about winning, about being a disruptive force, about silverware. Well, when Hearts go to Ibrox after the international break, it'll be interesting to see Russell Martin's approach to the game. Will he approach it as he did Celtic today, or will he revert to the style that got the 3 previous draws before today? And I'm very interested to see if Hearts can make their mark at Ibrox, because if Celtic and Rangers are the 2 clubs who are going to win the league, then surely the like of Hearts have got to think this could be their season to split them up.
Billy, where does this leave Russell Martin in your mind? I mean, there was some boos at the end there. We're going to speak to Ross McCormack about that in a second. Where does this leave him?
I think Russell, this was the best chance for Rangers today. No offence to Celtic, right? I'm obviously a Rangers fan, but that was the poorest Celtic team. Rangers should have took advantage of that today, and I just didn't see nothing there. As you keep saying, I didn't watch the game on TV. I was listening to yourselves, obviously commentating on it. There was no shots on goals apart from that one that was offside. For God's sake, the 2 top teams in Scotland, and they can't even produce 1 goal between them.
Yeah, Ross, let me ask you about that. So the booing of Russell Martin, it wasn't everybody, it wasn't overwhelming, but it was there. I could hear it, coming down. He won't have been able to avoid it, I'm sure. Did he go over to the fans? How did it come about, and what do you think that says?
See, to be honest with you, Gordon, I think Andrew played it down a little bit. It was a lot louder than even he said. But what happened was, obviously, the players were coming off the pitch and Russell went to congratulate them for the performance. Fair enough. Players went down the tunnel. They were getting clapped down the tunnel, and Russell then turned to walk down the tunnel himself, and that's when the boos started and the shouts were getting louder from behind. But listen, you've got, if you're a Rangers fan, you follow Rangers, you've got to try and take the positive from today. The champions from last season, they've kept a clean sheet. Didn't even look like conceding. Listen, I know they didn't create anything at all, really, Rangers, but they've got to see the positive in it, haven't they? From where they were last week to today.
Well, it's a better league point than the other 3 have been. If that's the way you want to look at it.
But
I take the point.
Russell Martin's back to square one, though. The 6-point deficit is still there. The fans' unhappiness with him is still there. It's illustrated by the banner. It's underlined by the booing. So he's exactly where he was yesterday.
Let's ask Gary for the Celtic side of things. Billy, well done. Thanks for that. Gary's on the other line, though.
Thanks, guys. Well, it's the worst Rangers Celtic game I've ever seen. Absolutely abysmal. I actually I stopped watching it and listened to the radio walking a dog. That's how bad it was.
And did Henrik the dog enjoy his walk in the second half, did he?
Flory.
I'm always quite unsure, because I don't know, they play each other so often. Has anyone got a real accurate list of whether it is the worst or not? But it certainly didn't live long in the memory.
Shots and Rangers that is absolutely atrocious.
That is the worst.
Took Celtic 70 minutes to get a corner, Gary.
Yeah, I'd rather walk Gary's dog than watch
So
that.
where do you want to see Celtic change then?
Get some strikers.
Yeah.
Get some guys that can score goals, and some midfield. We need at least 2 or 3 players.
So once again, we're in classic Celtic. They do spend money. It's just when they spend it that's annoying the manager. We're in classic transfer window position now for Celtic. The window closes tomorrow. They need players, and there's the chance that you make mistakes on that final day instead of doing the right thing.
Because the Adamida one you wouldn't say that like cost Celtic today in any way, Marvin, but so Celtic they get away with it in the sense like they just draw the game, they keep their lead at the top. But Hugh's right, it really is about moving on to tonight and tomorrow, because what is going on with Adamida? He's not even available to play. He's down in Swansea again. Is he going to move there without Celtic bringing someone in? Brendan Rodgers says no, but there's no imminent sign of a replacement.
I don't think there's any chance of Adamida leaving the football club without them finding a replacement. And I think that's why they've brought him back up the road. Gordon made a fantastic point earlier. It's not just about today. If that window was to shut, then Adamida is going to have to be a Celtic player. I think Brendan probably thought we can get through today's game without him. Where he'd be at mentally in terms of he's done a medical, they're going to receive it's around £7 million as well, so you don't want to put him at risk on the pitch. But yeah, he won't believe him without Celtic signing a replacement, and they can't do it again. They've done it with Kyogo, they've done it with Kuhn. They can't afford for Adamida to leave, and I know he's not been great, but they need bodies in.
Thank you, Gary. Still Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. More of your calls when we return.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Got a bit of developing news from Ibrox, and it's that Russell Martin, speaking after the game, has pretty much confirmed that Cyril Dessers has played his last game for the club. Did you see any of that, Ross? Any big emotional waving or anything?
No, nothing at all, Gordon. That's completely out of the blue to me. Came from nowhere, that one, but didn't see anything like that at all.
Is that a surprise overall, though? I suppose it was always one they would likely to move on with Miovski coming in, etc.
Well, I think it's probably determined by the fact that they probably couldn't get a fee for Danilo. He would probably be the one to move on if they had the choice, but if you can't sell him and they need one gone, then unfortunately it's Cyril Dessers.
Yeah, because reports of Chermiti from Everton coming in £8 million for a kind of young unproven player is quite something. Bigaman and Dessers gone, Chermiti and Miovski in. Is that going to be the way it is?
But for me, you're letting your top goal scorer leave the building. I know that some fans get on his back occasionally, but he scored goals in 2 seasons. It just depends on the money, Gordon, the age he's at as well.
David's on the line. David, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing, Gordon?
Yeah, good. What have you got?
I just listened to the news there about Cyril Dessers gone as well. That's a bit of a shock. I'd like to ask to Gordon Dalziel, Cyril Dessers is a great performer for Rangers over the years, and we're going to sign a guy for 10 million, I believe, overall, and plus extensions. He scored 3 goals in his career, I believe. So many games. Is that good enough for Rangers?
Well, we don't know because we
could sign a defender, what we need. We could sign a midfielder, sign a centre forward. For this sort of money, we're asking.
Well, we don't.
We flagged Cyril Dessers for the last season.
Yeah.
This season, we want Cyril Dessers in the squad because our centre forward has been Danilo, who's not scored the goals. Our right back is not defended well. Who we wanted rid of last year was Tavernier, who we've got the boy in, who's not been good enough. Tavernier is our best defender, I believe.
What do you think, Gordon, then, of this Dessers one?
Well, me personally, I think I wouldn't have let Dessers go unless it was money you can't refuse it, especially at his age. Because the one thing about Dessers is he's shown that he can score goals in this league, right? You're bringing other centre forwards in. You're talking about 8, 9, 10 million, right? Look at Celtic, Adamida. They're desperate to get him out the door, and they paid £9 million for him. So I think selling your top goal scorer, I think, is very risky. Because what's going to get you up there challenging is obviously goals. And Dessers can give you goals. He's 25 a season.
Is Miovski going to play ahead of him, though?
Yeah, well, but we don't know how many goals Majowski's going to chip in with. I liked his attitude today, Majowski. I thought he worked really, really hard for a team. But the proof will be in the pudding how many goals he's going to get this season.
There's also, as the last day approaches, there's also the element of financial sustainability. Andrew Kavanagh was at the game today. When he took over the club, he mentioned financial sustainability. You have a firm offer for Cyril Dessers. You don't have any offer for Danilo or perhaps any other player. Raskin, we'll find out in the next 24 hours. But there does come into this an element of balancing the books.
At the same time, the guy, as David says, the replacement's costing
He'll cost more than what I get for Dessers.
8 million.
Dessers is of that age though where he doesn't want to sit on the bench, Gordon. You know, you
No.
make the point there about Miovski coming in. He's now going to be the number one striker at Rangers. So Dessers is probably saying, I want to go and play. So the fee, again, I was the same as you, Gordon. You know, before Miovski came in, I wouldn't let him go out of the building. But ultimately, you're going to have a player that's unhappy sitting on the bench.
Yeah, let's thank David for his input talking about the Rangers side of things. Let's hear from Russell Martin on just the game itself.
I'm really proud of a lot of the stuff I saw, the fight, the togetherness, the spirit in the team, the aggression, the desire, all of that stuff that I think we got questioned on midweek outside and also questioned ourselves on inside the building. So that was a big focus for us to make sure we put in a performance that showed the guys are together. They want to win, they want to run, they want to fight. And they were brilliant in that sense. I'm disappointed not to win the game. I think the players are as well. But I'm really proud of a lot of the aspects of the performance. And then we just we couldn't quite match the level of desire and aggression, intensity by then calming down when we had a few moments in possession for sure. Rushed a few things, didn't quite make the most of. We had a lot of territory in the first half and then late on in the game as well, so we didn't make the most of that. But I think the first thing today was about showing how together they are as a group, and we are, and they certainly did that.
I think he overplays his hand at times. I don't think the Rangers fans saw anything to be proud of today, and certainly nothing to describe as brilliant as he's just done. He's decided not to go in for the self-preservation bit that he did in the first draw of the season, but
it was a lot better than that.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But the fans are not convinced by this, hence the banners and the booing. So I think he's overplayed his hand slightly with that assessment.
I slightly agree with that, Hugh, and the reason I agree with it is if he was knocking at the door, Schmeichel having save after save, I would take on board we deserved to win the game. Didn't create anything really.
He said off the ball though, didn't he? I think I mentioned it in the games that I've watched Rangers in this season. Off the ball, they didn't have that energy and that tempo about them. I know we're saying it's easy to build yourself up when you're playing against Celtic, but the positive from today was Rangers off the ball. I totally agree with you guys. On the ball, didn't do nearly enough, but they have to have that intensity when they do give the ball away to work back and get it back.
Let's bring in James. What's your take on things, James?
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Pleasure.
I was at Celtic Park actually watching the beanbag, so good place to watch the game.
Beanbag, I've not heard that phrase in a while. I remember when that started and it was all the rage. Anyway, sorry, James, I was just...
probably my age.
Maybe.
I'm from Bishopton, member of the Bishopton Emerald, and I would also... I think we're missing a point here, and a big point nobody's talking about is Celtic haven't lost a goal all season long, except for against a Falkirk. But in the league itself, there's no goal. Rangers had to come today. Rangers had to come today and close the gap. We're 6 points clear. We were 6 points clear about 2 hours ago. We're still 6 points clear.
See, in fairness, James, see any Celtic fans or anyone else though who puts a more negative spin on it, are they not coming at it from the angle of Celtic not being the best version of themselves? Yes, you still are better than Rangers, but that's the question for some of your fellow Celtic fans. Should that be enough? Do you want to just always stay half step ahead of Rangers, or do you want to be the best version you can? If you take Celtic in isolation, squad's much weaker than last season. Don't even know if Adam Ida's going to stay. Is it not all that stuff rather than, don't worry folks, because we're better than Rangers?
No, so I agree. I mean, so don't get me wrong. I'm a frustrated Celtic supporter right now. I really am. However, I think your point is valid. But we've only really lost two players. We've lost Kuhn and we've lost Kyogo. Okay, Ida's gone out the door. I don't think Ida was a starter last year. We've brought in two new guys. We've just had them, for a couple of days. We're probably going to sign a centre forward tomorrow. Again, it's a rebuild progress for Celtic right now. And again, I understand why everybody's frustrated. I don't believe, and Hugh said it, I believe, I don't know, I haven't listened to all the show, but Hugh believes the 6 points are attainable. But by Rangers, I don't think so.
No. Our caller said they were, and I took from that the caller thought that in the long run, Rangers could match Celtic and make it a league race. But I made no comment on the 6 point gap, other than to say it leaves Russell Martin at square one because it was there at 12 o'clock and it's there at 2 o'clock.
Thank you very much to James. We'll take more of your calls when we return. Keep them coming.
Taking your calls on the Old Firm Open Line. 0141 951 1025. Rangers v Celtic. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Gordon Dalziel, Marvin Bartley, Hugh Keevins in the studio, Ross McCormack at Ibrox, and Serge is on the phone lines. Take it away, Serge.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, panel. I'm just back from the game there. I was listening to some of Russell Martin's comments about the team being together and wanting to run, wanting to fight and all that. That should be a prerequisite for any guy that pulls on a blue jersey. Now, another thing today as well is apparently Dessers has played his last game for Rangers. Yeah. I tell you what, somebody ought to have killed the big man, because there's no way he went off that park today and won that.
It's an interesting point that actually that Serge makes, because Cyril Dessers, we obviously debate the football side of it on here, but I dealt with him. He's a top guy, by the way. Honestly, he's such a nice guy, right? See, when you speak to him and deal with him, I think he's very passionate as well. You can see that he wears his heart on his sleeve. I'd be really surprised that he didn't go and give it the big goodbye if it wasn't his last game. But Russell Martin says it is.
I can't believe that Dessers was on the park unaware of the fact that Rangers had decided to get rid of him.
Well, I mean, the window is... No, he'll know. Yeah, exactly. He'll know he's leaving. Marvin, the window shuts before Rangers play again.
And that's the thing. I agree with you. From everything I've heard about Dessers as a person, you know, I'm very, very surprised it didn't go across to the fans as well, because so many have supported him as well. You know, had a fantastic last season as well. But you know what, Gordon? Stranger things have happened in football. That players potentially maybe thought they were staying, and then all of a sudden the club say you need to go, and he ends up going. So I'm not saying that's the situation here, but it just doesn't really add up to me that he didn't go across and say goodbye.
I agree. I'm amazed that if he doesn't leave now, because you're going into that dressing room, you're thinking, right, okay, I'm a couple of days off in for training, and all of a sudden your manager's out doing a press conference saying it's your last game, you're leaving. I would sort of a look at the way you guys are going about this. If going on that pitch, you give everything like he usually does, then you would go over and applaud the fans and say thanks very much, I've had a great time.
Anyway, we don't quite know the ins and outs of it, Serge. What about the wider picture about Rangers or the manager, or where are you and all that stuff?
You want to look at the bigger picture. We're through 4 games, we've shipped 8 points. That is a very, very poor Celtic team. These games are usually quite spicy. It lived up to its bill in the battle of the infirm. It's 2 bad teams, and we're no kidding ourselves. I would be wanting to give Martin a chance, right? But the guy's just, for all what I hear coming out of the dressing room, whatever, is his ego's too big. He's not a good fit. He wasn't wanted, and at the end of the day, he's only. They're going to need to pull the trigger, because Rangers fans on the daft have been too loyal for too long. A lot of guys pay good money, and all we ask is they compete. We don't have a divine right to win, but we have a divine right to compete. And Rangers fans are very knowledgeable, and the loyalty again is being tested to the full. They go week in, week out, spend X amount of money when there's a cost of living crisis, right? It's no good enough, right? I don't really blame the board. The board but need to be brave and go up, man. It's not going to work.
Oh, so you still think so? That point today, not change your mind? You think Russell Martin's done?
No, Rangers fans going out there going, oh, brilliant, we'll never get beat. You know what I mean? Rangers fans will tell you straight, we done okay. Right? It's a poor Celtic team. We had to win. I mean, it never really looked like it. With these shots on target, right? With a lot of good play out wide. Rangers put about 20-30 balls in the box, and nobody got on the end out once. Big shooter was offside. That's the only good thing, Rangers fan. Shooter is offside, right? If it might have been, in my opinion, if it was the end of the city, they'd still be greeting about that. Right, but apart from that, it was pretty boring.
I think Rangers did compete, but they lacked quality, and that's down to Russell Martin's judgment as well, because the players who are there, he's brought in 11 so far, and there are more to come tomorrow, theoretically. So they did compete after a fashion, but the problem is that the players that Rangers have brought in, such as Asgard, are not very good.
Look, you can't keep battering Russell Martin saying he doesn't change, and then when he does change, you're finding fault in it. But at the same time, Gordon, it's a fair point Hugh makes. he looked like he was going to hang his hat on Joe Rothwell to the detriment of Nico Raskin, but actually Conor Barron isn't it, starting the game. Look, you find your solutions. If Conor Barron goes and stays in the team and Rangers have a successful season, no one will care. But it's just, you wonder how it's all coming together.
I think he's in the situation he doesn't know his best starting 11. He's looking at players. He was hanging his hat on Aarons at right back. He wanted Tavernier out the side. All of a sudden Tavernier back in the team today. Rothwell's out, Raskin's out. He's mixing and matching. I think he's got to get, after this international break, I know it's a squad game, but the majority of his players, and get it settled and get a rhythm going if he's going to be successful. But I'm with the rest of the Rangers fans. I think Russell Martin's got to struggle.
Serge is one of a number, I think, Ross, of Rangers fans who are not having the manager still, which is fine. It's because there's all these wider issues he's dealing with. What about the Raskin stuff? What were the chants like, and is that awkward for the manager?
Apart from the atmosphere pre-match, Gordon, that was the loudest chants the full day. Was the Nico Raskin chance. It's quite clear where their loyalties lie in terms of if it's Nico Raskin or the manager. They want obviously Nico Raskin to stay at the club. No one really knows for sure exactly what's went on, so it's hard to comment on it, but speaking to people round about here as well, they can't believe that Nico Raskin wasn't in that team today.
That's where I would have at least be willing to have sympathy, Marvin, because Ross is bang on. We don't know specifically, but should we leave open the possibility that maybe Nico Raskin is difficult, maybe he's not good to have around, maybe he is a bad influence, and if you're Russell Martin you just have to. The problem is he's got no goodwill from the Rangers fans. They're even holding the Iggaman thing against him. Iggaman refused to come on. It's like the worst thing a player can do, but the Rangers fans dislike Russell Martin so much it's his fault. Now the Raskin stuff is his fault. Maybe a shred of sympathy for him in that regard.
Yeah, listen, there's not a lot of balance with some people because a lot of them didn't want him in there. And we spoke about it when he was first appointed. He has to win these fans over. He hasn't done that. He's got 4 points so far in the league. Now he's got the problem with Raskin, as you said, who was really, really good for Rangers last season. Ultimately, a manager has to make massive, massive calls. And he's done that with Raskin because he's saying, you know, on a daily basis, as I said, from what I had heard, he's been causing a problem. So that's him not playing for the football club. And some of the players like you guys are speaking about that he's hung his hat on, they haven't performed. So again, a manager has to take them out. He can't afford to leave people in like Rodwell who aren't performing well and say, do you know what, I'm going to leave you here because you're my signing. Because ultimately that will get you sacked. So Barron goes in today, does extremely well. It says to Rodwell, now you need to up your game. I brought you in here for a reason. You haven't lived up to those heights yet. We've got the international break coming up and then you have to hit the ground running after. A lot of these Rangers players, I know everyone's looking at the manager, a lot of the new boys who have came in, they need to get the game by the scruff of the neck because they're not doing enough.
Well, Russell Martin was asked how could they not be about the pro-Raskin chants. Here is what he had to say.
I didn't hear that, and honestly I just want to focus all my energy. If anyone asks about any player individually, like I'll focus all my energy on the squad today who I'm really proud of. It's not about me, it's not about Nico, it's not about any individual, so I'm here to talk about the group and the squad we had today, and they were brilliant.
Well, take the man at his word, I guess, but it sounded like everyone else heard it.
It is about you. You're the head coach and the banners are out and the booing is going on. It is about you. And you did hear it. I can't believe that you stood there and didn't hear it. Ross McCormack has been telling us that it was very loud. So, you know, he's been disingenuous there. I'll use a fancy word. He's been disingenuous there.
Okay, keep them coming. Plenty more time for calls and both managers to react with us. We'll do that when we return.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Still another hour to go here as we pick over what happened at Ibrox. The second half just about to begin in the Dundee derby as well, where Dundee United lead by a Zach Sapsford, easy for me to say, Zach Sapsford goal to 0. Have they edged it, the visitors?
Yeah, I think they've been the better of the two teams. You know, Dundee United done extremely well in terms of pulling Dundee all around the place. You know, we spoke about the goal. I think the keeper could have potentially done better, but yeah, Dundee United were a good value for their lead at half time.
You know, I just listened at the league table, Marvin. If Dundee were to come back and win this match, they go above Rangers in the table. And if St Mirren beat Hibs today, they go above Rangers in the table. And that's why Russell Martin is back to square one. It's 4 games, 4 draws, still in the bottom half of the league. And, you know, the fans are as against him as they were yesterday. The draw with Celtic apparently means nothing to them.
I think there was a situation where Rangers could have finished the weekend bottom, wasn't there? If they had lost today and results would have gone against them. I'm pretty sure someone had said that yesterday, that they could have been bottom of the league, but listen, they're not. They got a point, and Dundee are not looking like they're going to win this year.
No. Let's bring in Mark on the line and get his thoughts. Mark?
Hello?
Hi Mark, take it away.
How you doing, guys? Well, I was really wanting to talk about Callum McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Callum McGregor is one of my favourite Celtic players pretty much of all time. But I'm starting to think it is time for Callum McGregor to become an impact substitution. Midfield, so slow, backward pass. He doesn't seem to have the adventure that he used to have. And I think it's time maybe we went with, someone else, maybe McCowan, in the midfield. As in years gone by, you had, back in the day, you had McStay, you had Peter Grant. After that, you had, Lambert, Burley, and they were all kind of adventurous players. I think it's came the time now, Mr. McGregor needs to sit on the bench.
First of all, the commercial, and then the answer. The commercial is Callum McGregor took over from Scott Brown as Celtic captain and was outstanding, and has been outstanding, and has been the heartbeat of Celtic for a long time. Commercial over. The reality is that Callum McGregor now is toiling, and Celtic would need to go and get themselves one very, very good player to be better than Callum McGregor with the greatest will in the world. It's not Luke McCowan, but he has been fabulous for Celtic. But the cup final against Aberdeen, where my revision of the side began, Callum had an unfortunate day and missed a penalty, and I don't think this season he has been anything like the Callum McGregor that we know.
I'm going to let you go in a second, Ross McCormack, so you can leave us with that. How was Callum McGregor today? Is it time to spell him out of the Celtic team?
Listen, he wasn't at his sparkling best today, but I wouldn't say that it's time to phase him out of the team just yet. I think the problem Celtic have got is their whole system is designed to get him on the ball to be able to go and dictate play and dictate tempo. The movements in the midfield are not designed in a way where if he's been nullified and someone's sitting on him, he just spins and runs away, and an Arnie Engels or a Hatate or whatever come in and get the ball. So everything is designed specifically to get Callum McGregor on the ball and dictate it. If he can't get on the ball, then it's harder for them midfielders who are playing in number 8s or number 10s, and then the wide players to get on the ball. So it's a tough one with Callum, because as Hugh rightly said there, you're going to have to spend even more than the 11 million that they spent on Arnie Engels to go and even think about trying to replace a Callum McGregor.
Bit early for me, I've got to say. Look, I do agree with the guys that this season he hasn't been dominating games the way he usually does. But I thought last season, I know Hugh's touching on the cup final, but apart from that, he was adding goals to his game. I thought he had a good season.
Point, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not got off to the best start this season, but look, he's still quality. Everything still goes through him. I still think there's plenty of football in Callum McGregor, but right now I think he's just like every other Celtic player because of the transfer window, everything that's going on. I think he's suffering a little bit.
Thank you to Ross. We'll let him go before he gets kicked out of Ibrox. See you later, Ross. You take care.
Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good man. There we go. Mark, I just wonder about that. That kind of idea that you can just replace Callum McGregor, whether it is with Luke McCowan or someone else. Is the reality not that he's still at a level that Celtic fans might, or fans like yourself might not know what you've got till it's gone?
Case of we don't appreciate Callum McGregor. I think it's just a case that Callum McGregor's maybe become too comfortable in the midfield, and you've got players like Bernardo, you've got McCowan. We've let players like Ben Doak leave, without even giving them a chance to kick a ball. And,
see that, Mark, just quickly on that, is that not complete revision? Ben Doak got a Celtic debut at 16 years of age. He got put on at 16. He then came on in an Old Firm game at 16. But what happened is one of the biggest and most successful clubs in the world in Liverpool came along and took him. Sometimes Celtic, Rangers, other Scottish clubs don't help themselves. But how could Celtic keep Ben Doak?
With Scotland. You know what I mean? We don't seem to give youth a chance.
I just said he played at 16.
In Glasgow, you know, second.
Mark, he played at 16 though. How is that not giving him a chance?
Well, 16, he's not really developed as, you know, what you would call a kind of full-fledged player.
Celtic are damned if they do and damned if they don't, then in your eyes. I mean, they had Daniel Kelly, wanted out of the club. He was in the first team. You had Rocco Vata.
I think that, by the way, the wider point's bang on. We need to get far more Scottish players playing, no doubt about it. But I think Bendel went to Liverpool. How are you going to stop him going to Liverpool?
Kids today don't look upon Celtic and Rangers as the be all and end all, the meaning of life, their main ambition. They just don't. They get out of there as quickly as they can if they get the chance to move to England. Just a fact of life.
Here's what Brendan Rodgers made of the game itself. Let's hear from him.
I thought it was a poor game, if I'm being brutally honest. Positive for us being we haven't given away much over the course of pre-season, and today I don't think we had a shot against us on target. So defensively we've been good and solid and lots of endeavour, which is great. But the actual, in terms of our quality in the game, and was it's not at the level I'd expect a Celtic team to be. So that was a disappointment. But I felt overall the quality of the game wasn't at a high enough level.
Fair? I think anyone would disagree.
Brendan sounds completely underwhelmed by everything. He's entitled to make the point that Celtic didn't give away much in defensive sense, but he knows that his side is lacking in quality. He's just said so, and that's why he is so unhappy with the board. I genuinely believe that Brendan is a supreme politician and the answers that he gives are politically correct, but I genuinely believe that Brendan Rodgers is taken aback by the lack of transfer activity, by the timing of the transfer activity that does take place, and there will be no Brendan Rodgers at Celtic Park next season.
I actually think he sounded bored after that game like everybody else there. He summed it up perfectly. Listen, he can take a few positives away. They didn't create a lot. Yes, he says there that Rangers didn't have really a shot on target. Clean sheet, that 6 point gap. So there's a couple of positives, but there's a lot of work to be done at Celtic, and I think Celtic fans realise that as well. And it'll be interesting to see before the window shuts who comes in, who leaves.
One man's opinion, this old guy's opinion. He's there as Celtic manager out of moral obligation because he won't quit that contract until it is at its expiry date. But I don't think that Brendan Rodgers is fully committed to Celtic anymore. I think he looks at a future elsewhere at the end of this season.
Yeah, listen, I think Hugh might be right in terms of that happening. He did sound like a frustrated man today, but I don't think that's anything to do with the board, which we keep referring to. I think that's with the quality of his players. Like he said there, they could have been better. They should have been better. We're used to Celtic playing in a much different way than they did today. And it's always frantic in these games between Celtic and Rangers, but they just didn't take the game by the scruff of the neck. I think Callum McGregor was nullified. I disagree with the caller who's saying it was, he needs to be phased out of the team. I think there's still a lot to come from Callum, and I think he's still a massive, massive player for Celtic. But I just think today he had an off day. I just think like his team, has had an off day. But ultimately, they go into the first international break. They're unbeaten. They haven't conceded a goal, and they've got 3 wins and a draw. I think it is.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Let's go to Colin in Neilston. Hi, Colin.
How you doing, Farrell?
Good. What you got for us?
I thought we were absolutely robbed today, mate, honestly. I'm on my way home for the game now. I want to see the penalty decisions. I think the goal should have stood.
Why?
Well, from my angle, it's not offside.
He's behind the goal, wasn't he? He's behind the far goal.
I mean this in the politest way possible, Colin. You must be at it here. You must know your angle is not entirely relevant here.
I thought the referee had an absolute howler. The referee was a shocker.
I'm sceptical.
I think it's time Russell Martin. It's time for him to leave.
Well, I don't think Colin's alone in that, but we'll take on the question there about the penalty kick. For me, I think the referee got that spot on. There was a couple of tackles in the middle of the park I think Don Robertson should have let go. I think he was too quick on the whistle a couple of times. He got one or two decisions wrong, but this isn't a game that we're going to be sitting here talking for the next 45 minutes about the referee's performance, because the game was so poor. Everything that was involved round about it was poor as well. But the big penalty case, it was certainly, in my eyes, 100% correct decision. It was never a penalty.
Colin, specifically, why do you want Russell Martin to go?
Well, 4 games, come on. 4 games, 4 draws.
Well,
you asked
right,
the man.
Yeah, that's. I said to you an hour ago that is the crux of the matter. He's no better off than he was yesterday, and it is 4 games, 4 draws. What happened against Club Brugge, 9-1 on aggregate, is absolutely humiliating for Rangers, and Russell Martin is living game by game. I'll be very interested to see if 49ers Enterprises have anything to say before Andrew Kavanagh returns to the United States. But Russell Martin, is still not wanted by 99% of the Rangers support.
Do you really think they'll sack him, Hugh? After 4 domestic games, spending money again, it seems like.
But why living game by game, the next one, Hearts, is a real test of him and his Rangers team. Hibs, if they were to knock Rangers out of the Cup, the drama increases, the pressure increases, and there does come a point where, you know, the 49ers have to do something about it.
Let's hear from Russell Martin on the owners who were there today, of course.
I've not felt one change in their attitude towards me. If anything, I felt them more support than ever in this last week from Kevin, Patrick, the owners, Andrew being here. Andrew spoke amazingly well to the players and staff yesterday about the plan that we've embarked on just 90 days ago, that they felt it was the right plan then, and they still do. So he doesn't want to get caught up in the I don't know what to call it, you'll criticise me for whatever, the hysteria of you guys and what goes out and everything else that comes with being at this football club. Because like the guy earlier before the game that asked me about the pain threshold has been reached already. The pain threshold has been reached time and time again at the football club, by the supporters, by everyone else. Then the pain threshold gets reached, there's a change, and actually nothing's really changed. So I feel really supported by the owners. I feel the players and the staff needed to hear that yesterday, because there was a lightness in the players after that. And then today they went and showed how hard they want to run for us, the coaching staff, run together for a team, run for the supporters, run for the owners, because they feel supported and they feel there's a plan in place, they understand it. We're disappointed we haven't got more points, but we're 6 points off the top of the league, and now we have to hunt and we have to be hungry and desperate like we were today to win and get better.
We're 6 points off the top of the league. I mean, what Rangers fan wants to hear that line?
You feel like that was presented there as if it was some sort of positive?
Yeah. And it simply is not. And I go back to Wednesday night. Wednesday night was a low point for Rangers as a club. But for Jack Butland, it might have been 10-0. And the fact that Club Brugge relaxed in the final half hour of the game, it was embarrassing, humiliating, delete whichever it is, inapplicable.
Where I can't sort of understand this, he seems to highlight this today about the work ethic, the run for each other, and they never created anything at home against Celtic. And I think even Celtic fans who come on this programme saying, oh, it's a real poor Celtic team, we would turn up at Ibrox. Rangers never created anything. Listen, if you're a Rangers supporter and you go along, you take your seat in that stadium and Rangers players come out, the first thing you're looking at is saying, well, they're going to do a shift, they're going to work hard for the jersey, we're here to support them. That's the first thing they demand.
They haven't been doing it though, have they?
No, they haven't. That's part and parcel of the game. But you can't come out, I've heard them using the word today, oh, the players were brilliant. You've not created a chance. You know what I mean? There's an opportunity there. I think if you look at that Celtic team compared to what they were in the days gone by with the Kyogos, Jotas, O'Kuhns, all these, right? You look at them, they were weaker today. If you're Rangers and you're at home today, you're thinking, this could be a great chance to get some. But if you come off the park and all your manager can turn around and says they showed they're together and they were working hard.
Then to be just to try and offer a shred of fairness, the things have been on the floor, haven't they? So you got to try and take any small victories you can at this point.
I grasp that, Gordon.
You're not judging Rangers by normal standards.
Listen, if you're going to go forward and you're going to be better, and he's talking about we're 6 points off the top of the league, I'm sorry, you've got to see something that you walk away from that game and you say today, do you know what? That was a sort of a makeshift Celtic team, and they look quite poor today. Schmeichel had a great game. We created chances. Our play was good. We get in behind them. We were, all the sort of excitement stuff. All he's talking about is a basic hard work.
Brian's on the line. Brian, hearing from the manager now, how do you feel about him these days?
Yeah, thank God you brought me in there. Gordon, on and on and on and on there.
Sorry, Brian.
Sounds like a Rangers fan.
All right, Brian, calm down.
Before I say my point, I'm not happy with the 6 points behind, drawing the first 4 games. I'm certainly not happy about the performances against Bruges, right? But what I'm on to do is we have to trust the process. If this had been the same board and this had been happening, I'd have been exactly the same. I'd have probably wanted the manager out, right? But when the 49ers came in and took over the club in the summer, everybody was so positive, so looking forward, to what's going to happen. And then as soon as they made the decision, the manager, the negativity started right away. A lot of them didn't want Russell Martin in, even though they were happy. But the 49ers taking over, they made the first decision, and I'm not happy about it, right? Now, I don't go to Ibrox, right? I used to. I supported Rangers from the early 70s to the early 90s. I went regular, right? And I'm not saying I didn't see stadiums that were toxic and very difficult for players to play, especially players that are still starting out in the club who need help, right? What I would say to Rangers fans, please start supporting the team, right? See where this process goes. And if 6 months down the line, people say we've lost the league already. I don't believe we have, right? Not after 4 games. I also believe that vitriol and hatred, towards the Rangers manager is, I don't recognise a Rangers support at the moment. I don't recognise them at all. I've seen Rangers when they hadn't won the league for 9 years, early to mid-80s, and I've never seen anything like that I'm witnessing just now. And I'll tell you something else. They have come down and backed Nico Raskin, who was undermining the manager behind the scenes. I heard Neil McCann saying he's a difficult player. Right? Now, I've liked Raskin as a player, but he hasn't really proved himself. He's not dominated games that he should have, right? But he's undermined the manager. Senior players and senior staff are with Russell Martin in this. And to back Egeman, who blatantly decided he wasn't going to play with the club, I do not recognise a Rangers support at the moment. See, after you talk about this point, can I come in about financial sustainability? If you don't mind.
Do you know what? Just go and make it quickly if you can, Brian. There's a break fast approaching. The producer's going to get twitchy, so just crack on.
Yeah, the financial sustainability, which Stu has talked about often. We got a new board with a £20 million investment. Now, along with that investment, Rangers would have had a transfer budget this season. Now, so far, you can correct me if I'm wrong, we have spent just over 20 million players, but we've taken in 18 million in players. Now, I know we're taking the risk on the young Everton player, Nemechi, but I'm judging the process. 8 million is a lot of money, but you never know where this is going to go. Maybe this is what this boy needs. But as I said again, please back the team.
What do you do though, Hugh? Because this is where I always think it's difficult. I think, see, if you were just to be a stranger to these parts, you tuned in, you heard Brian, you would think, well, I mean, that's all fair enough. Surely it is much easier when everyone's pulling in the one direction.
Yeah.
I think we spoke about this yesterday. Brian, that was a nice, passionate appeal. Good on him.
Yeah.
Russell Martin can do it. You can't change the minds of 50,000 people inside a stadium and social media, radio phone-ins, whatever. You just can't tell people how to feel. You just can't. It's just, it isn't right. It's just the reality though.
I have this mental image now of Rangers losing 3-1 to Aberdeen at Ibrox, and the players going to applaud the fans, and I remember the reaction they got, and Michael Beale that did for him that day. I remember the crowds gathering to verbally abuse Philippe Clement after a Celtic defeat. You cannot tell people that they must back the team, because what you mean is, regardless of results, regardless of performance levels, and that's just the way it is, that trust in the process is a bit of a cliche for me. What process? So far the manager's brought in lots of players. Some now don't get a game. Some who were touted as being the next big thing have turned out not to be so far. So it's about the transfer dealings, some of which have been okay, others are not so fine. It's about the 4 draws. It's about the humiliation of losing 9-1 on aggregate. The manager's under pressure because of football, and only football can save the manager. Going forward, he has to take care of Hearts and Hibs, and that the Europa League cannot contain any more 9-1 aggregate losses. So football got him into trouble. He'll need football to get him out of trouble.
I do think in an ideal world what Brian says makes perfect sense. It's just we don't live in an ideal world. So what do you do then? Can you keep going round on it, or do you need to dig in the way Brian wants?
Yeah, I love Brian's passion for the club. The only thing is, trust the process. You would need to see some evidence just now to say, right, we're going in the right direction. Would that evidence be today because they worked harder as a team? You would need to ask the Rangers fans that.
Plenty time for you to get your thoughts over. We'll do it next.
Taking your calls on the Old Firm Open Line. 0141 951 1025. Rangers v Celtic. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Still Dundee 0, Dundee United 1. Anything jumping off the screen for you from that one?
No, it's lacking a bit of quality now. Dundee United would be quite happy just to take the 1-goal lead, take the 3 points and walk back down the road. But as it still stands, 0-1, Dundee are always in my shout, and I think they would take a point at this moment in time.
Dundee United losing a few players to injuries, they look like. I think this might be the second one.
Lucas Stevenson, that would be a blow, because they brought him back up with high hopes, I think.
Yeah, he's done really well for Liverpool in pre-season, played a lot of first team games, then managed to get him back up the road, but just getting his ankle checked there, I think. But yeah, listen, Dundee United are still good value for their lead, and Dundee haven't really troubled the Dundee United goal yet.
2 other games, Hugh. Aberdeen 0, Falkirk 0, Hibs 0, St Mirren 0 after half an hour.
Well, Aberdeen, interesting, Jimmy Tulin, the season has not started well. They're bottom, pointless. I think a home defeat to Falkirk today would cause the fans to start to grumble. I thought the crowd were amazing when they played in Europe. The size of the crowd and the raucous nature of the crowd. But Jimmy Tulin, for me, tends to get away with a wee bit, and he needs to start picking up.
Yeah, crucial period for him. I'd agree with that. Let's bring in Daniel, who's been hanging on the longest. Daniel, take it away.
How you doing? I think Celtic missed the opportunity of a lifetime today. Rangers are a wounded animal, and Brendan Rodgers' tactics have seriously got to have a look at. We never had a shot till the 60th minute. Never got a corner until the 70th, and that's 2 Champions League games in an Old Firm, no shots. You can't tell me that's into the striker. We're not putting the ball into the box until it's the last 15 minutes, until it's plan B. Plan B is have a shot. How can plan B you have a shot?
It's always an interesting one, that, Gordon, because the manager has to take the fall for pretty much everything, so that's fine. I wouldn't dream of trying to let Brendan Rodgers off with it, but a lack of I highly doubt he's not wanting shots on goal, right? I'd imagine he wants quite a lot of them. So where is the balance between manager's tactics and players' execution? Because if Balikwisha had been more positive and secure in the first half, then they probably would have had shots at goal. Is that a tactical thing, or?
No, I just think it's a confidence thing just now. I thought the European game, over the two legs, I thought they were very poor in the forward areas. I think they've missed so much quality there. You know, you talk about Kuhn, you talk about going back to Kyogo, you talk about Jota missing. That is a lot of quality to take out your side. I didn't think they looked a threat at all today, Celtic. You look at Brendan Rodgers comes in for a bit of criticism. If you look at his record and with the so-called big games lately, it's not that very good, is it? You know, he's been, I think it was 2 losses, 2 draws to Rangers, lost against Aberdeen, the cup final, the European one, Almaty. He didn't score a goal in 200 odd minutes. He goes to Ibrox a day, hardly a shot, corner kick, his first corner kick in the 7th of minute. So I know that you can hark back to Bayern Munich, had a great result against them, but I think Brendan Rodgers has got to take a little bit of criticism here. He can't just point it all at the board, because if you look at the team, and especially in Midley Park today, he's still got real quality in there, but they did not create anything.
It just feels like, Hugh, though, what changed for Celtic, right? So from this stage last season, when they were very good domestically, there's no point pretending otherwise. No. Look at the amount of goals Celtic scored last season. What's changed? Has Brendan Rodgers stopped trying to get his team to play the way they did last season? Or do they not have the same players with the X factor at the top end of the pitch? It must be the latter. And again, that's not to let Brendan Rodgers off with it, but I doubt he's changed. I doubt he's asked them to play differently. But there is such a drop off in quality.
Kuhn, Kyogo, Jota, not replaced properly, and that's why tomorrow's vital. You know, Daniel's complaining about not having a shot. Shin Yamada came on today and did tolerably well, holding the ball up and doing his bit to help get the draw, but he's not top drawer quality. Celtic need to go spend money, get quality in it. That is the outstanding area of the park where the decline is taking place. It used to be Kuhn, Kyogo, Jota, and now it's way beneath that. And with the greatest respect to the most decorated Celtic player of them all, James Forrest should be coming on as an impact sub, but he has to start too many games. Maeda, last season's player of the year, he looks a shadow of himself. I don't know what the reason is for that, but yeah, of course the manager has to take responsibility for the 2 Karate Almat results and for today's performance, but he is having a hand tied behind his back because the quality is not there and has not been brought in.
Dundee 0, Dundee United 2. Ivan Dolchek, top scorer now in the Scottish Premiership, has scored again. I think that's him up to 4 perhaps. Good finish. Game over?
Yeah, game over for Dundee. As I said, they look toothless at the top end. I know Simon Murray, their captain's back now, but you know, he's lacking game time really. It's like he's now out there, he's probably ran his race, and just at the other end, Gordon, they can't keep the ball at the back of the net either. So yes, it's going to be a long 12 minutes or so for Dundee. Their fans don't seem very happy at all, as you can imagine.
What would you like to see Brendan Rodgers have tweaked today, Daniel, or done differently? If you think this is on him, what changes should have been made?
I think any of that front three that played against Almaty would have walked into their team. So talking about quality doesn't really wash. Anybody, we didn't have a shot against them. So you can't win a game of football if you're not shooting.
Again, though, and by the way, how are we going to strike this balancing? Because I don't think Daniel's wrong. Managers need to take the flak for everything. There's no way they're not having shots by design, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I just think that both teams were so poor, Gordon. The quality was poor. Look, I know what he's saying there about. I don't agree with him that any of the front three. You look at Yang started in the European game. Yang's been very, very poor for Celtic. He's more of a come on and when the game's gone for, and the game's won for Celtic, and he'll create one or two things, but he's not a starter. James Forrest had a brilliant career, but he's not a starter week in, week out. They do lack the quality in the front areas.
So right now, as in the way they performed over the last week, would they walk into the Kairat team? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? That level of performance, we're judging these guys on paper.
Yeah, I think it's a team thing though, Gordon. I think even watching today's game, the way that Celtic were working the ball into the final third, how many times are you talking about Maeda getting the ball with his back to goal and a defender right up, behind him? And it seems that there's no real support when the ball's going into him. There was no real quality of the balls being slid down the side, rather. And, until he went onto the left-hand side, there was no real penetrative runs from Celtic front line either. So, yeah, I think the manager can take some blame, but ultimately it looks like the players have gone away from what was working for them so well last season. It looks totally different when they're now to get into the final third.
Because again, Gordon, those ones where the couple occasions Celtic did manage it, they have possession, they look up, they switch it. That stuff's not accidental. That's what you work on.
Yeah.
You know Rangers are going to come and press over, so you switch play. True. And it gets to Balikwisha, and then he did absolutely nothing with it, and he turns back. I think again, he won't be getting told to turn back there, I don't think.
No, and we were saying in the studio, Gordon, we'd like to see him just go and be positive and try and take Tavernier on. He's in a great position. But I thought the Nigerian on the other side was the exact same. Every time he got the ball in the first half,
at least he's not a winger.
Yeah, no, I know that, but he's out there and he played against Livingston there and scored 2 goals. But every single time he got the ball, he come back the way. It was all. I thought Celtic were very negative. I thought they were quite happy to say, do you know what? Subdued game, 0-0. We'll take it, international break. We'll see what the window brings. We're 6 points ahead. Rangers have caused us no problems.
They've had 1 win in the last 6 games against Rangers, and that was on penalties.
Yeah. Let's thank Daniel and bring in Craig. Can you go, Craig?
Good afternoon, panel. How are you?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, fine, thanks. I just wanted to make a couple of quick points on the Rangers manager and his comments after the game today, if that's okay.
Go for it.
First of all, I think everyone on your panel today can admit that it was a terrible game of football, one of the poorest Old Firm games I think I've ever seen. And then I'm listening to Russell Martin in his press conference after, telling us that Rangers were brilliant, everybody's running for the team. I think if you hadn't seen that game today and you had listened to the radio and listened to Russell Martin after it, you would have thought Rangers had won that game. And I don't know how long this guy can go on trying to pull the wool over the Rangers supporters' eyes with his...
Craig, I think he meant off the ball, though. I think he meant in terms of Rangers, their work rate off the ball. There's no way that a manager or anybody who watched that game could try and kid you on that Rangers on the ball, because they didn't really create anything at all. I think when he's talking about running and players working for each other, it's when Celtic had the ball was turned over, or Celtic were looking to counter-attack. And I don't think you can really argue with that. If you look back at the other games for Rangers, I think off the ball they've been poor. I think against Motherwell especially, they were giving the ball away and nobody's really reacting. Dundee, the same. So it's something that's been missing. I know one of the callers said earlier on that's the basics when you play for Rangers Football Club, but they weren't getting that basic right. So yeah, I agree with you in terms of on the ball. I thought Rangers weren't at it at all, but off the ball I think they worked hard.
Craig, how far back has this manager got to go in your mind then? Because to be fair, he can't just keep coming out and battering everyone and slaughtering everyone. He got a point against the big rivals today, and it would have been so much worse if they'd lost. So is it not getting quite difficult for him to say the right thing?
Yeah, I think as a Rangers manager, I think he's got to be honest with the supporters and the media. I think we've heard Tom English the other day ask him for the first time a really difficult question, and he couldn't give a definitive answer. I think when he comes out with comments like that after a game is okay if you've actually won the game, but this was a really poor Celtic team there today.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, Craig, on you go.
This has been a really poor Celtic team all season, if we're being honest, and we're still 6 points behind. The fans don't want to hear about, we were brilliant running off the ball. What are you going to do to start getting the team winning matches?
Okay, thank you, Craig. Some good points, well made. Still 2-0 Dundee United. About 6 or 7 minutes left in that one. We'll take more calls when we return.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Marvin Bartley, Gordon Dalziel, Hugh Keevins all still here. We're nearly finished in the Dundee derby. Dundee 0, Dundee United 2. So barring some sort of late drama, that will certainly end with the Dundee United victory. Elsewhere in the Premiership, still no goals. Aberdeen 0, Falkirk 0. However, Aberdeen are down to 10 men. Nicky Devlin, your old pal Marvin Bartley, sent off just before the break. I think a straight red card as well, so we'll take a look at that one. And Hibs 0, St Mirren 0. Hibs doing so well up to a point the other night, still losing in Europe overall. How will they bounce back? We'll keep an eye on those. Andy is on as a Celtic fan. Andy, how do you reflect on today?
Really disappointing and kind of flat. I mean, I apologise, I've not listened to much today, but it was just so dull, and I think I feel that way for both sides. Like, there was barely anything. It was like one side didn't want to lose and the other side kind of wanted to play in a horseshoe. It was so bad.
Well, I think Brendan Rodgers backed up your point, Andy, because he sounded thoroughly depressed by it all. And he, above all others, knows that he really needs to get some movement in the transfer window tomorrow. Balikwisha came in and had a very quiet, subdued debut. Benji Nygren on the other side of the park, admittedly out of position, but offered very little. And it is flat. And it is stale. And it needs an injection of quality. And I go back to the cup final in May. That was the red flag, and I don't mean anything to do with Aberdeen. There was no quality that day. Even Celtic's goal was an own goal in the cup final. So they've got 24 hours to see what they can bring in. But Brendan Rodgers is looking seriously underwhelmed by everything around about him at Celtic.
Is this a bad combination, Andy, of you needing more attacking players, better attacking players, but also the ones that are there and the ones that you thought you were hanging your hat on are underperforming as well?
Potentially, but it's the same old with Celtic. You know, we've seen this. We saw it in January when we needed to replace Kyogo and we didn't do it. We've not paid money for a first team player in 42 days now, I think it is, in terms of first team players. Like, we are. If I said what I wanted to say, I wouldn't be allowed back on Super Scoreboard. So,
probably a good time to stop.
It's so infuriating the way that we are run just now. It is ran. I mean, it's been spoken about so many times. It ran like a bowling club. It has to get passed through a certain director, and I mean, the Dolberg thing. Like, whether or not he is the be-all and end-all, I don't know. But if he's what you need to get Ida to go to Swansea, then you pay the money and you get it done. Like, I think we're about £20 million in the red after signing Balikwisha. We shouldn't be in this state of play. Like, it's just embarrassing, to be honest, as a Celtic fan.
Well, still no update, by the way, on Adam Ida. He was asked about that today. Still no update there. It's certainly going to be a fascinating night tomorrow as well. We'll be on Clyde One Super Scoreboard whilst the window's starting to move to a close, so who knows what it will have in store. But I think Celtic fans certainly hoping for business. Thank you to Andy. Let's squeeze in Stephen before we finish. Stephen's a Rangers fan. How do you feel?
Completely dejected. That was probably the worst Celtic team that has come to Ibrox in the best part of 30 years. You know, you look at Martin O'Neill's teams, you look at Strachan's teams, previous Brendan Rodgers teams, and they were utter garbage. We get 4 shots in goal, and we're taking it as a win. Well, Russell Martin is, because, to be fair, we probably, for large parts, looked like the better team. We got in the final third, but we did nothing. 4 shots in goal. Are you kidding me? This guy is an absolute disaster. That's his 11th game in charge of our club, right? Pre-season friendlies and closed-door games included he talks about us 8 weeks, 9 weeks. No, this guy's managed us for 16, 17 games all in, and it's an absolute disaster. We're getting worse. We've played okay against a terrible Celtic team, and this guy, the fans need to take action now. There's Europa League ticket sales coming up. I mean, boycott sales, boycott the stadium. We need to do everything in our power. Fans shouldn't run the club like this, but we have to. See if the board aren't going to do it. This manager is a disaster. He will never succeed as manager of Rangers Football Club. When he came in, I thought, you know what, this guy, but by all intents and purposes, he sounds like he's going to have this dynamic playing style. It sounds like we're going to play with pace, press high, blah blah blah, create loads of chances, and it's been a disaster. And it sounded like it would work in this league, but it's not, and it's never going to. We need to get rid of this guy right now, and the fans need to act. I lost my season ticket back in the day when Dave King, etc., were getting Charles Green and his mob out because we had to boycott season ticket sales at the time to basically force that action through. This needs to happen now, because that guy is he's the worst manager. But he's worse than Kashinya, he's worse than Beale, he's worse than... I don't know. I'd rather have Neil Lennon in than that manager.
Oh my goodness! Well, first of all,
by the way.
First of all, no self-respecting journalist could advocate boycotts. That's not what we are here for. With regard to Russell Martin, the most damning stat is 11 games, 11 competitive games, European and domestic, and 3 wins. So that's why he's in trouble, and the international break will only give fans time to feel even worse about it. And I keep coming back to it. The 2 games, both at Ibrox, against Hearts and Hibs, might have Russell Martin's future in their hands.
Here's a damning stat to finish with when Stephen's talking about the lack of attempts on goal and so on. I think regular listeners will know we don't really talk XG very often. We don't really bring it up. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but to be fair, if we're going to bang on about shots on goal, shots on target, you're probably better looking at XG, what rates the quality of your chance rather than a 40-yarder that dribbles into the keeper's hands. Anyway, with that in mind, there's a Twitter account called the XG Philosophy, right? And it's got 500,000 followers. It just basically posts all the stuff about all these games. And the Rangers Celtic game, they've tweeted to say is the lowest XG game they've ever posted.
Is that right? It sums our afternoon up.
So the numbers might not mean much to you, but the Rangers with 0.16 and Celtic 0.17. Again, look, I know people don't necessarily buy that, but take it in the context of what it is. For these people who do care about that stuff, it's the lowest ever they've ever had, so the least chance of scoring a goal basically in a match.
And after witnessing 90 plus minutes,
you can believe it.
I totally believe
that excites me, because my brother came up for his first derby between those two today. His work came up, they flew him up, so I'm absolutely delighted.
Hello to Marvin's brother. Anyway, thank you very much. I think that'll pretty much round us off. Hugh, go on, you can give the address of the nation to finish us off.
Russell Martin is still in desperate bother with the Rangers fans. Banners today booing the manager at the end of the match, and 3 wins out of 11 is a horrific start for him. Brendan Rodgers, Celtic need an injection of quality, and the last 24 hours of the transfer window are going to be crucial because the fans are watching and they're not impressed.
Thank you, Hugh, to Marvin and Gordon, to Ross and Andrew at Ibrox, to all of you for listening and keeping us company. It wasn't the best, I think we can all agree on that, but we'll pick over it again tomorrow. Dundee United have won the Dundee derby. We'll get 2 other games ongoing. The transfer window closes tomorrow. It's going to be unmissable, if I do say so myself. So 6 o'clock tomorrow, get it in the diary. We'll speak to you then, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening.
season, I want to feel it from the start, from the whistle, from the first touch. Want to beat the odds, want to take an early lead, want to see why he costs so much money, want to shout pen before the ref is even called in, want to see the call go our way for once. I want to hear their lot go quiet, want to see them leave early, want to drop into the group chat to tell them I've seen the future, want to hear them agree, and if not I'll say, want to bet? Bet Fred. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Get the new Google Pixel 10 Pro on EE and save a huge £544. And talk to Gemini about anything you see.
Like reorganising my living room?
Exactly. Or helping us decide which top to wear with me jeans. Yep, that too.
What about my old phone?
Trade in and save even more. All on the UK's best network. No wonder tech lovers are choosing EE.
Introductory offer ends 15th of September. Trading discount dependent on device. Savings across contract. Eligibility, credit check and terms apply. Credit by EE Limited. Verify best network at ee.co.uk/claims.